You and I are about to dive into a crazy world where a pro gamer, Wang Yanju, faces the ultimate boss, Jig Sufu. Staring her down, our top-knot hero looks completely unbothered by her presence. Meanwhile, the yellow-eyed girl can already sense his insane pressure. In the crowd, everyone is losing their minds because this guy is the first player ever to beat Valkyrie since the game launched. Ready to strike, the white-haired girl narrows her eyes and unleashes her ultimate move. Her signature blade flower spear drives the entire crowd into a frenzy. Glowing blue blades fly straight at Wang, but he just smirks and takes to the sky to face them head-on. With flawless movement, the young man dodges every single strike. The deadly blades pass clean through his body without leaving a scratch. His opponent is completely shocked, and the crowd cannot believe their eyes. But the real shocker, the young man actually catches a flying blade. Wang instantly teleports behind the girl, subduing her with her very own weapon. With the match over, Wang is declared the winner as the arena explodes with cheers. Showered in falling confetti, our smiling hero gets ready to accept his grand trophy. And guess who is presenting it to him? The very girl he just defeated. She smiles and congratulates him, calling him a true hero. Next, we find the boy back home in front of his computer, ecstatic because Jake Sufu is now a romanceable character, meaning he can finally make her his virtual girlfriend. Suddenly, an unexpected pop-up message flashes on his monitor. Annoyed, he clenches his fist because some error is actually blocking him from claiming his hard-earned trophy. Hoping to bypass the glitch, Wang clicks the option that says yes, but that only floods his entire screen with weird question marks. Now pay attention, because this is where things get wild. A gloved hand reaches out from the monitor, and Jig Sufu herself steps into reality, filling the room with blue light as Wang tumbles back. Still flat on the floor, our hero slowly opens his eyes to see the yellow-eyed goddess staring down at him. Panicking, he asks what's happening, but she says there is no time to explain just as two creepy guys breach the room. She quickly draws her massive weapon and hurls it straight at one of the boys. It hits him dead on, giving the poor guy zero time to even react. Watching this unfold upside down from the floor, Wang breaks into a cold sweat. He frantically crawls away from her, screaming, "How could you just assault my friend like that?" But a focused Jig Sufu simply yells for him to watch his back. Behind him, a terrifying, red-eyed zombie is already gearing up to turn him into lunch. Luckily, the warrior slices the monster with her massive katana, saving our clueless protagonist. Both zombies hit the floor, completely finished. But then, they suddenly turn into smoke with a soft poof, leaving piles of gold coins behind. A stunned Wang demands to know why his schoolmates became zombies and literally dropped loot. Calming him down, she explains he isn't losing his mind. The actual game world is actively invading reality. Refusing to believe it, he asks how his school could possibly become an instance dungeon. Patiently, Jag Sufu tells him that if he wants his normal life back, they have to clear this stage together. While she explains, Wang rushes over to his dorm room window to see the chaos outside. To his absolute horror, his classmates have all turned into flesh-eating monsters. If they fail this quest, everyone gets permanently erased. Without hesitation, our brave heroine leaps out the window, gracefully shredding the horde. Meanwhile, the boy offers a quick apology to his infected friends for the total mess. Looking back, the girl commands him to hurry, grabbing his hand and dragging him along. Desperate for answers, Wang asks why this nightmare started. The warrior reveals that greedy developers, trying to meet massive player demand, changed the game code, which caused the whole system to gain consciousness. Now, its main goal is to get ultimate revenge on humanity. Escaping outside, our boy looks around in confusion, asking why a game would even have zombies in the first place. But wait, let's think about this together. Suddenly, a memory clicks, and he remembers the game's Halloween event. Yes, the classic land of the Walking Dead where players used to farm thousands of weak zombies for easy loot. He confidently complains that she should have told him sooner, since these starter enemies are totally weak. Clearing this dungeon will be a complete walk in the park. Armed with only a basic cleaning broom, he steps up to face a massive zombie wielding a dual-blade chainsaw. Wang charges forward with ultimate confidence, but the zombie instantly shreds his wooden broom to pieces. Terrified, our boy screams, "Why do these low-level monsters have such overpowered, broken weapons anyway?" Suddenly, squealing wheels echo behind them as a freakish zombie strapped to a high-voltage electric chair charges right at him. Having no other choice, Wang books it behind Jig Sufu. The warrior reminds him that this is the game's ultimate revenge. Soon, the roles will completely reverse, and the monsters will hunt them down as the weak, low-level targets instead. Gazing at the endless horde, she feels a rare moment of concern, but her worry vanishes as she readies her special powers, though she is dangerously low on mana after fighting so hard. Looking back at the boy who is shaking like a leaf, she realizes she has only one desperate option left. Suddenly, a zombie lunges with a devastating strike. She leaps backward to dodge, leaving the ground completely shattered. This close call absolutely infuriates our white-haired warrior. Grabbing Wong by his hoodie, she retreats from the chaotic battlefield. Finding a safe spot, she warns him that her mana is spent, meaning his survival now depends entirely on his own strength. He turns to her, wondering how that is even possible. Unleashing a sacred spell, she offers him her special blessing to unlock his hidden ultimate power. Leaning in close, Wong gets excited because a Valkyrie's blessing basically makes them an official couple. Without a word, Jigsufu initiates the magical fusion, summoning a massive red lightning strike from the sky, which instantly alerts every single zombie in the area. Feeling an epic power surge, he realizes his clothes have transformed into his elite in-game skin. She explains that she used her divine blessing to shatter the final barrier between reality and the virtual world, meaning he has officially become a legendary awakened player from that moment on. Suddenly, a talent reset interface pops up, letting him boost one stat before the fight. Standing before a massive target, she tells him to pick his first game talent. Grabbing a throwing dagger, he hurls it with absolute excitement. Proving his god-tier luck, he hits the exact spot that grants him the right to claim a legendary S-rank weapon. A wave of fast-moving zombies rushes forward, but a fully armed Wong lets loose on the monsters. He reminds himself that burning his classmates is the only way to save them. And yeah, he's going to roast them to a crisp, firing relentless waves of devastating fire. The screaming zombies vaporize into thin air, leaving behind heaps of valuable coins and loot. Admiring his handiwork, our boy realizes he can actually fight just like a high-level pro gamer. But Jigsufu warns him that she only granted the blessing for this emergency. Unlike his maxed-out online account, his real-life level is still painfully low. Brushing it off, he replies that stats do not matter right now. All they need to do is beat this dungeon to make everything normal again. She nods, and with a quick apology to his old pals, our boy prepares his flamethrower. Trust me, you and I are about to see him turn this entire undead army into ash. Alright, let us dive into this wild story where Wong just pulled off an epic attack, using environmental damage to rack up easy rewards just like he did at lower levels. Seeing how environmental damage bypasses basic defense to deal fixed damage, Jigsufu admits to herself that while it is a cheap trick, the kid actually knows his stuff. He teases her, asking if he can call her his wife to get that sweet partner blessing, but she shoves him toward the flames, protesting that it was purely a life-or-death emergency. But when she sees Wang actually slipping, she panics and catches his hand to check on him. Grinning, our main character flashes a thumbs up, totally unfazed. Pulling himself up, he sighs at how close that was, but Jigsufu senses danger in the air. Before they can react, the ground gives way and they plummet. Landing hard, she realizes the game world invasion is getting worse, literally swallowing up the real city. Wang agrees, but begs her to get off him first because she is crushing him flat. Dusting themselves off, they realize they are not alone as zombies crawl out of the dirt. Worse yet, he cannot use his flamethrower here with all these explosive items around. He quickly opens his status panel to find a solution, while the heroine notices his power has surged. Grinning, he tosses her a mana potion and explains his weapon only covers close range, meaning she has to snipe the distant threats. Jigsufu nods, promising to obliterate every single one of them. Drawing her katana, she warns him to get ready as the horde closes in. Wong immediately unleashes a wall of fire, unaware that a zombie sniper is aiming right at his head. But before the sniper can pull the trigger, she takes him down. Standing together, Wong boasts that they make the ultimate husband and wife team. Blushing hard, she tells him to stop calling her that. But right then, his flamethrower overheats and goes offline, needing time to cool. Now, pay attention here, because he grabs her hand for a quick retreat through this maze, while Jigsu frantically warns him not to run blindly into more monsters. Wong confidently claims he knows these paths by heart from the game, but his luck runs out when two creepy female zombies block their way, politely asking to dissect them alive. Unbelievably, our boy comments on how pretty they look compared to the game, earning a swift reality check from his companion. Snapping out of it, he fires his flamethrower point blank at one of them. But she shrugs off the heat, slashing back with massive claws and leaving Wang completely shocked by her defense. The heroine leaps into action, throwing her glowing blue blades while checking if he is still in one piece. Wincing, our main character realizes his low level makes these monsters too tough, triggering a painful debuff state. She screams a warning just as a zombie raises its massive claws for a lethal strike. Reacting, just in time, he spins around and uses his foot to block the monster's grasp, keeping those sharp claws at bay. Apologizing first, he blasts her right in the face with a fiery burst. Fighting through the pain, he notes that headshots deal critical damage, even if aiming this heavy flamethrower is a total nightmare. Jag's Suifu walks over with a sigh of relief, admitting she expected him to go soft on female monsters, but he proved her wrong. He smiles, knowing that defeating these two is enough to trigger a level up, which fully restores his health. Better yet, he spots some extra bonuses popping up on his screen. He scores a new skill called Happiness Falls from the Sky, plus 4 points to all stats, but they are too distracted to notice someone watching them. Perched high up, a bat gloats about tracking down the intruders, revealing himself as a creepy vampire eager to taste Jake Sufu's sweet blood. You and I can clearly see the trouble ahead as they reach a blood-red church. When they push open the door, a vampire boss welcomes them, promising a brutal punishment for invading his domain. With the doors slammed shut behind them, Wang looks closely at the boss. Something is off. This vampire looks exactly like his school janitor. Old Gold Tooth. The shocked heroine realizes even elite boss monsters are merging with real-world people, while the terrifying vampire crushes his glass and asks if she thinks his shiny gold teeth look absolutely amazing. Disgusted, Chick Sufu readies her weapon, throwing a glowing dagger while vowing to rip every last gold tooth out of his ugly mouth. Swatting her attack away, the vampire laughs and counters, mocking her weakness as a dark mist traps her. This is bad, since their elemental natures are complete opposites. Whispering in her ear from behind, the monster promises it will be painless, but Wang suddenly steps in, landing a heavy punch to keep him away from his wife. The vampire crashes down, crying over losing the gold tooth he cherished for years. Holding Jigzu close, our boy boldly declares that he will protect every single hair on her head. Furious, the monster lunges forward to take him out first, but our hero just smirks at his predictable pattern, firing his flamethrower to turn the tables. The vampire gasps in disbelief, wondering how fire could harm him while he is in mist form. Wang happily explains his flamethrower deals magic damage, bypassing the boss's physical immunity. Enraged, the beast discards his mist form, aiming to tear the kid apart with raw strength. Easily dodging the strikes, Wang calls them pathetic. He memorized this pattern after dying 5 times at launch, and now, he is about to beat this boss for the 772nd time. Unleashing a massive final blast, he leaves the vampire looking like a burnt, crispy snack a minute later. He runs to Jigsufu, begging for praise, but she tells him not to get cocky over one boss. Secretly, though, she wonders how she should reward him for saving her life. Checking his loot, he gets a rare material, the vampire's ancestral gold tooth. But the ground suddenly violently shakes as she warns him that the game fusion is becoming dangerously unstable. In the chaos, a falling rock knocks him out cold. When he finally wakes up, he finds himself resting on something incredibly warm and soft. This is no dream. A mysterious voice asks if he slept well, and he looks up to see a towering, gorgeous blonde vampire. Scared, Wang asks if she is the dead boss's wife. Towering over him, she tells him to drop his toy flamethrower because dinner is served, and he is on the menu. Sweating bullets. Our hero really hates where this is going. When she approaches, he scrambles for his weapon, only for a red high heel to pin him firmly to the ground. Glaring down, she warns him to stay quiet unless he wants to be crushed. Trying to dodge her advances, our boy desperately claims he is already a married man. Amused, she lifts him by his shirt while he begs for help. Suddenly, the door is kicked open as Jek Sufu bursts in, explaining they got teleported to a new game zone. Trust me, you and I are going to want to see what happens next after she finds them, as the vampire claims her husband now belongs to her. Stick with me, Jake Sufu fires back, denying she's his wife and warning that this high-level enemy shouldn't even be here. With a smirk, the creature asks if she really thinks she's the only unique NPC around. She then unleashes a swarm of vampire bats. The girl desperately shields her face with her arms, terrified that everything is lost against such an incredibly powerful opponent. Wang panics as the enemy holding him declares he is all hers now that the girl is gone. But to their shock, our heroine suddenly reappears, mockingly asking who exactly she was talking about when she claimed to have finished someone off. Furious at being underestimated, the vampire unleashes her ultimate skill, telling her opponent to feel honored. Then, playing dirty, she threatens to make her husband suffer if the girl takes even a single step closer. Switching tactics, Jake Sufu summons the Sun Spear, a powerful S-rank weapon. Just the sight of this legendary artifact is enough to make the enemy visibly weaken. The vampire quickly raises her shield to protect herself, but our boy delivers a brutal kick. He laughs, revealing he was only acting when he pretended to be charmed by her. With her defense shattered, the angry vampire asks if he thinks she won't dare obliterate him. Wang just smiles and mocks her, dodging every single strike while boasting that his wife is 10 times better. Wong reveals he was just a distraction to let Jake Sufu fully charge her ultimate move. Since cooperation is their true power, the direct hit makes the vampire scream in agony. The game system notifies our boy that he now possesses the Vampire Lord essence. He immediately runs over to hug his ally, trying to sneak a peck while professing his love and calling them the perfect match. But the young woman is visibly exhausted from overusing her energy. Safe in his arms, she explains that her core data has been damaged and she must rest, asking him to wait for her in the upcoming fight. Now pay attention here, an old man with a wicked smile suddenly asks what they're doing. It's the school principal. He approaches and grabs her hand, claiming he must take her to the clinic while Wong tries to explain. But then, Wong spots a giant health bar floating above the old man's head. He yells at him to freeze, realizing this imposter isn't the principal at all. His hunch is spot on, and the old man morphs into a red-eyed, bizarre plant creature. Gripping his weapon tightly, our boy realizes this hideous monster is actually the final boss of the dungeon. If he defeats this boss, their world will finally return to normal. Smirking, the plant monster asks if the boy honestly expects to destroy his kingdom. He boasts that the school is his personal playground, capturing Jake Sufu in his tentacles as his new toy. Because her level is too low, she is completely powerless to stop him. Screaming, our protagonist orders the monster to release his wife, unleashing a fiery blast to roast the weed. But the creature opens its body to absorb the flames, morphs its trunk, and starts spitting rapid-fire green slime balls right back at him. A massive explosion rocks the area, temporarily hiding Wong from view. Fortunately, he quickly emerges from the smoke completely unharmed, just a little winded and out of breath. Determined to win, the plant monster charges up a devastating strike to show he's not playing around. He hurls a giant, glowing green energy ball at our boy, who desperately tries to plan his next move. The attack hits its mark, leaving a trapped Jake Sufu watching in sheer panic. Confident in his victory, the monster declares that now that the boy has been expelled, he can finally play with her. But unfortunately for him, Wong walks out of the smoke, mocking that the green blast wasn't even enough to warm him up. Wielding his partner's katana, he charges ahead, slicing through the tentacles and catching the falling girl in his arms. He smiles, promising he will always be there to rescue his wife, while she weakly tells him to stop calling her that. Recovering quickly, the young woman warns him to stay alert because the fight is far from over. Enraged, the boss sprouts fresh tentacles and mocks Wong, asking what he can do without his high-tier weapon. Easily dodging the attacks, Wong asks if the beast thinks he is useless without S-rank gear. He boldly states that a simple iron sword is more than enough to send this monster to eternal rest. And yeah, I know what you're thinking, he is totally obsessed. But our boy worked incredibly hard just to meet Cheek Sufu and master this game to win her over. Having mastered every mechanic, he knows even a simple wooden stick would be enough to win. Annoyed by his confidence, the boss snarls that Wong is still just holding a pile of useless junk. Bringing up his status panel, our boy states he doesn't need high-tier gear because he can see every single weakness at a glance. Driven mad with rage, the boss launches another attack, promising to burn him until he is crispy. Narrowing his eyes, Wong asks how the creature dares to use such a predictable move. If he interrupts this skill, the backlash will absolutely destroy him. Wong does exactly that, making the boss scream in agonizing pain. Yet, even while crumbling, the stubborn monster keeps yelling that he will expel him from the school. Unsheathing a massive sword, our boy prepares to finish him off for that sweet experience points and gold. Suddenly, icy knives fly straight toward him. Panicking, Jake Sufu screams at him to watch out. He easily dodges, letting the cold blades strike the boss instead. Annoyed, Wong looks back to see who is trying to steal his kill, as two girls surrounded by mysterious purple and blue auras step forward. Our boy immediately recognizes one of them as the school's top beauty, Rue Mammon, demanding to know what she's doing here. Curiously, his ally asks if he actually knows this girl. He explains that she is famously known as one of the school's worst bullies. Meanwhile, the pink-eyed girl asks her friend if she knows the boy staring at them, but she coldly replies that they are just classmates. Stepping closer, Wong realizes the other girl is Xiao Lu Jia, the game's magic instructor. But when he accidentally touches her head, she gets highly irritated and snaps at him to keep his hands off her. As he backs away, Wong spots a glowing object on the floor. It is a legendary gold item dropped by the defeated boss. Checking his status screen, he wonders what this mysterious key is since he had no idea it existed. Desperate to stop him, the two girls warn him to leave the item alone because it only brings absolute disaster. But it is already too late, and a powerful presence suddenly manifests right in front of them. With a single brutal punch, it sends our boy flying. A terrifying woman emerges, laughing about how easy it was to slip in close, mocking the previous boss for being incredibly weak. Hoisted up by his throat, the boy asks what Ruby, the fallen Valkyrie, is doing in this low-level zone. Smiling wickedly, she ignores his question and asks if he is the one who defeated Jake Sufu. Having caught her breath, Wang's ally steps up, ordering the woman to let him go unless she wants to die. Ruby scoffs, asking if she truly believes she can win after betraying the system's will, especially since she is only level 50. Stepping in, Wang boldly boasts that his wife is still far superior. This utterly infuriates the Valkyrie, who snaps that he just earned himself a painful death. Before winding up a devastating punch, she promises to obliterate him so completely that he will not even be able to resurrect. Fortunately, a bright protective barrier manifests around our boy, completely blocking the strike to the red-haired woman's absolute shock. Suddenly, a voice explains that picking up the key triggered the game's system to instantly claim the dungeon rewards. It is Rue Mammon, who confidently declares that the Valkyrie cannot harm anyone anymore. Chuckling, Wang mocks Ruby for being so obsessed with him that she completely missed what was happening around her. Realizing she has been totally outsmarted, the angry woman points a finger, warning them to enjoy their luck before she wipes them all out next time. She vanishes into a dark portal, while our boy happily cheers because his massive rewards just came through. With the dungeon cleared, their school finally returns to normal. Meanwhile, the school janitor stands around totally confused, wondering how on earth his gold tooth suddenly vanished from his mouth. Meanwhile, the principal sits in his office wondering what he ate to make his stomach hurt. What a wild ride, right? Let's dive into this wild story where our happy main character thanks Mammon, joking he never expected to be friends with the school leader, but she completely plays dumb while telling her friend to ignore him. Jag Sufu steps up, reminding Wang he has questions for the glasses girl who took the key. Agreeing, our boy asks where that item even came from, since it never existed in the game. She explains that this key is crucial. It stops the real world from merging with the game world. Because of this, whoever holds it becomes the game's ultimate enemy, hunted down forever. Curiously, she notes it's weird, the boy knows absolutely nothing. His ally then steps in and apologizes for not explaining this insane situation sooner. She explains that both their worlds are real, but the game world is filled with resentment. Now, controlled by some unknown power, it's unleashing dungeons to attack reality. Without intervention, the real world will face total destruction while the game world falls apart. Shio adds that to save their home, the NPCs became self-aware. They believe the only way to stop the invasion is on the mysterious, unexplored floating island. If they collect all the keys, they can finally open the path to that place. Realizing what's at stake, Wang asks if this means he'll be saving the game world. Jag Sufu apologizes for dragging him into this mess. She tells him it's not too late to back out since she can handle the dangerous Ruby on her own. Smiling, the boy is touched by her worry, but refuses to back out. Surprised, Mammon asks why he's so eager to fight when it's so risky. Wang tells her he has two major reasons to stay. First, he is the strongest player who clears levels on the first try, so he's not worried. Second, his wife. Where else is he going to find an amazing girl like Jufu? Flustered and annoyed, she starts hitting him while he laughs, saying it was just a joke. Blushing from her cute punches, he admits he is only good at gaming. Now that he can save the world by gaming alongside his wife, he won't miss this chance. Here's the part you and I need to watch. Mammon absolutely hates flirty guys and tells him to keep his distance. For now, though, she accepts their protection. Suddenly, the school bell rings. Wang panics, asking what to do about his ally and Xiao Bei, since they will definitely attract student attention. The glasses girl tells him not to worry. Her dad is the school principal, so she has the perfect solution. Later, Jufu asks our hero if she should really wear this outfit. We see both girls in school uniforms, while the boy takes endless photos, calling the white-haired girl beautiful. Other students show up, demanding to know who the gorgeous girl next to Wang is. They get jealous, assuming she's his girlfriend and cursing his insane luck. Approaching our boy, the heroine asks if they can meet somewhere private tonight because she has something important to tell him. Blushing and awkward, he promises to arrange it. That night, our protagonist waits on the quiet sports field. Jag Sufu suddenly arrives and attacks him with her blade, scolding him for asking to meet in such a sketchy spot. She notes his quick reflexes and tells him to prepare for special training. Drawing his weapon, Wang asks if that's the only reason she called him out, claiming he's already mastered every skill. She explains she's going to teach him a powerful skill that only a Valkyrie and her chosen partner can unleash together. Elsewhere, Ruby sees on a rock, furious that our boy stopped her. She mutters that he's making a massive mistake, thinking he's safe hiding in the real world. Since the school merged with the game space, she can easily break in. Meanwhile, let's head back to Wang's training you, and I know he's getting way too excited about dual cultivation. She quickly clarifies it just means training together to unlock his hidden potential through intense combat, helping him master a technique called data awakening. Confused, the boy is suddenly bombarded by attacks from every direction, forcing him to dodge instantly. She explains that data awakening transcends levels, equipment, and basic stats. Only by mastering this can he bridge the massive level gap to defeat high-tier opponents. Otherwise, Ruby will eventually end his life. That's why she wants to train him personally. As she talks, she hurls a massive blue sword right at him, but to her shock, he actually blocks it. Channeling his power, he stops the blade, teasing that she didn't have to scare him. Then, he reveals he can see both their health bars. Shocked, Jag Sufu asks how he awakened. Wang charges forward, subduing her as he explains it happened just now. Ever since learning about the worlds merging, his desire to use game skills in real life has skyrocketed. All it took was hearing her explanation and boom, it triggered. Annoyed, she retorts that it was just a basic awakening with much more to learn. Rising up, the boy unleashes a massive surge of blue energy, asking if she meant this awakening. When howling from his power, she struggles to shield her eyes. Suddenly, a massive explosion erupts in the distance. Over at the blast site, we see Ru, Mammon, and Bei desperately fighting someone. It's Ruby, who sneers, mocking their weak attacks that didn't even leave a scratch. Terrified, the glasses girl gasps that she's out of potions, while her friend stands shocked by Ruby's sudden arrival. Charging up a devastating attack, Ruby asks if those are their final words. In a panic, Mammon begs Shio to cast an ice wall immediately. Channeling her magic book, Shio summons the frozen earth to form a barrier. But Ruby laughs, claiming one strike is all it takes to shatter their defense like glass as she charges forward. Closing the distance, she kicks the pink-eyed girl aside, telling her to beat it. She cold-bloodedly vows to eliminate her ally first, then blow her up next. Turning to Mammon, she demands the key for her life. When she refuses, Ruby slaps her, revealing she never planned to let her live, wanting her to feel the pain of a real blade. Now that reality has shifted, she's going to make her feel every bit of agony. Raising her cursed sword, Ruby promises to take her time. Soon, she'll know exactly what it's like to lose. Glaring back, Mammon warns that she'll regret this because Wang promised to protect her. Out of nowhere, blue energy blades fly at the villain as a voice declares they made it. Wang and Jag Sufu arrive, joking that heroes always show up late. Annoyed, Ruby vows to slaughter him first for mocking her earlier. Standing beside her husband, the yellow-eyed heroine warns the redhead not to underestimate his newly awakened power. Mocking them, the red-haired villain asks if she wants the first strike, but Wang steps in, asking if she didn't hear what his wife just said. A weakling like him is more than enough to end her. Worried about the level gap, Mammon asks if this is safe, but Shio trusts he has a plan. Charging. Ruby snaps that he talks too much. Channeling all her rage, she lunges with her flaming blade, but Wang instantly blocks the strike with his glowing blue sword, leaving her completely stunned. She draws another weapon, unleashing a flurry of attacks that he effortlessly blocks. Furious, she multiplies into 3 clones. Trust me, you and I are about to see an epic clash next. Let's dive into the action as our hero threatens to slice her into 3 pieces. Stunned, she wonders how he figured out her clone trick when no other player ever could. But our main character already noticed a massive loophole. Even though their physical looks are totally identical, the sheer amount of data hiding in her real body is completely different. He boasts that reading her weakness is too easy now that he has mastered the system. He knows her structural makeup inside and out. Annoyed by his confidence, she calls him a total creep. She sneers that his low-level gear is absolute trash, meaning any physical attack will only backfire on him. Laughing, he counters that he has no intention of hurting her at all. Instead, he grabs her tight and reveals her ultimate secret vulnerability being extremely ticklish. On top of that, he claims to know every single sensitive spot. Screaming in desperate laughter, she begs him to stop the torture. Nearby, the other girls watch in shock, asking if this absurd victory was actually planned, but receive a flat no. Unable to survive the tickle attack, she finally surrenders. He gladly accepts her defeat, warning her to stay out of his way. Still defiant, she asks if he is not worried she will stab him in the back later. He shrugs it off completely, stating that because of her honor as a Valkyrie, he knows he can trust her word. Frustrated, she storms off, swearing to remember this humiliation once she levels up and becomes far stronger. She exits with a dramatic vow of revenge, while our hero simply smiles, complimenting her potential as a highly skilled player. Suddenly, a mysterious duo approaches our main character. The leader introduces himself as Stinky Jan Wu, gesturing to his quiet companion named Kiemph standing right beside him. Realizing who they are, our hero says he recognizes them, shocking the group. Laughing, Cyan Fing immediately demands he fork over 1,000 stacks of rare ironwood and valuable medicinal herbs. It hits him that she is the dreaded non-player character behind that nightmare-gathering quest that forced him to chop wood for weeks. Slicing through the confusion, she points out her partner instead. Grinning, he explains they are all fellow gamers who instantly spot each other. He reveals they have formed a massive alliance called Tamiya to battle side by side, inviting them to join the ranks. Intrigued, our hero asks if this group functions like a gaming guild, while the girl emphasizes that uniting gamers gives them the best shot at saving their collapsing world. Shingi agrees, asking if he needs healing supplies after facing that tough boss. The two young women receive high-grade healing potions, drinking them down with sincere gratitude. Feeling their strength rapidly return, they listen as he explains why a coordinated group beats solo play every time. The leader suggests that if they are ready to cooperate, they should follow him right now. Now pay attention, because as they head to a noisy construction site to meet their boss, a mocking voice suddenly stops them in their tracks, asking if that is supposed to be the strongest fighter. Standing high on the scaffolding, a smug youth and his partner look down, laughing that it is rare to see top server players clashing. Looking up, our purple-clad hero instantly recognizes the legendary reincarnated king. Annoyed by the title, the rival snaps at them to stop. He admits he is shocked they teamed up with low-tier characters when they had a powerful Valkyrie on their side. The scouts officially present this newcomer as the actual boss of the Tamiya faction, leaving the party completely speechless. Intrigued, the girl beside the boss whispers, questioning if this kid is really that dangerous, warning that his entry might threaten their own standing. Arrogantly, the rival asks how they should handle this. She slyly suggests, demanding he hand over his valuable companion, Jetsufu. That greedy move would solve all their problems. Agreeing, the young boss announces he will permit our hero to join, but only if he surrenders Jetsufu first. Hearing this absurd demand, an ally steps forward, asking if Period has completely lost his mind. The purple-haired swordsman scoffs, asking if he seriously expects a man to just give up his own wife. Infuriated by the attitude, the boss snaps back, declaring that he will take the girl by force either way. Just as they prepare to battle, Yangjia notices one of his close friends suddenly collapsing in agony. He instantly realizes she has been poisoned, left wondering how on earth this could have happened. Connecting the dots, he remembers the healing potions and accuses Jan Wu of spiking their drinks. The boy shrugs, telling him not to complain since he brought this on himself by challenging the boss. Period laughs, mocking our weakened hero for being in no state to fight. Yangu coldly refuses, stating there is nothing he loves more than denying arrogant jerks like him. Furious, the rival declares that a bloody battle is officially on. Leaping down from the skyscraper, he shouts that this is the perfect moment to settle their bitter past, ordering his squad to fight to the death. He boasts that once he wins, Jetsufu will belong to him. Clashing weapons, the two trade vicious blows and savage insults. Period tries to close the distance on the woman, but she warns him to stay back. She loudly questions why they are wasting energy fighting each other instead of teaming up to save humanity. The purple-clad fighter asks if they even comprehend what happens when the digital and real worlds collide. He argues that bringing game elements into reality is actually a massive blessing. Can you believe this guy? He wants the old world order destroyed so elite gamers can level up, force survival, and act like godlike saviors to normal citizens. He wants normal people worshipping them as ultimate deities. Laughing, the blonde rival boasts that everyone will soon bow to his commands. Disgusted, Yangu asks if this twisted fantasy is why he betrayed Mammon and slaughtered so many innocent gamers. They joke that bringing gorgeous game girls into the real world is a perfect bonus, nodding along in complete, twisted agreement. But our hero immediately snaps out of it, rejecting the madness. He demands to know if the villain understands how many thousands will perish from this catastrophe, swearing to shut him down. The villain just laughs, taunting him with his overwhelmingly superior level. Realizing he desperately needs to grind more experience to win, Yangu grits his teeth, throwing himself back into the chaotic duel. Our smart protagonist points out that while the rival might have higher raw stats, he clearly forgot to put any points into his basic intelligence. Flustered, the leader demands to know what he means. Smirking, Yang Su points out that the dummy ignored the fragile structural pillars of this ruined building, teasing that it is time for a quick physics lesson. In an instant, the entire structure caves in, burying the blonde rival under tons of heavy rubble. But before Yang Su can walk away, something unexpected catches his eye. A hostile player creeps up, grabbing Xiao Bei by the arms, while the rest of the gang rallies to block any rescue, bragging he cannot handle so many high-tier elites. Refusing to yield, our hero orders Ramen and Xiao Bei to flee immediately. Mocking him, the captor asks why he would ever let a pretty hostage go, claiming he wants to enjoy her company first. Grabbing one of the girls, he mutters that he fails to see the main character's charm anyway. Calling him foolish, the enemy warns that worrying about friends will only get him killed. The pink-haired ally charges in to help, but her leg is caught. Instantly, Yangu hurls her away to keep her out of danger. Before she can retreat, our hero snatches their girl by the wrist, calling out to the rising boss that his partner is now captured. Crawling from the debris, Period screams in rage at these dirty tactics. The boss is paralyzed with shock. Panicking, the captured girl screams to her leader for salvation. Yang Su cold-bloodedly demands a trade, telling the boss to order his goons to release their friend. Amused, the pink-haired hostage mocks them for treating her like a fragile princess, warning that her true power would terrify them. Desperate to protect her, Period quickly agrees to the hostage exchange, begging them not to hurt her. This is his only chance to salvage the situation. Within seconds, both hostages are released and rushed to safety. Sobbing, the girl complains that Yangu absolutely terrified her during the capture. Our protagonist stares down Period, reminding him that his past betrayal is not forgotten. The rival just sneers, claiming the main character does not intimidate him at all. Later on, our hero meets with his ally inside Mammon's house. He notes the girls are too traumatized to fight right now. And that's where we leave things today, with our white-haired friend feeling deeply guilty for suggesting this dangerous alliance in the first place. Come with me as we dive into this crazy story where Yangu worries his loud battle with Period was caught on camera. Checking his phone, he sees the evidence is already everywhere. On the news, they are reporting that giant, mysterious creatures are spawning all over the globe, leaving absolute destruction in their wake. Even worse, over 4 giant monsters have already been confirmed, and they are not just invading land, they are rising from the sea too. As terrified kids cry out for their parents, Yangu realizes this is no joke, it is the prelude to the end of the world. Shockingly, the news reports these monsters came straight from the game of 1,000 girls. Terrified, our protagonist rushes home to tell his partner that the monsters have breached the city. He cannot just sit back, he has to take action. Worried, she asks if he is going alone, but he tells her to stay and protect Tio and Mammon. Assuring her he is the strongest player, he receives a heartfelt goodbye, with her begging him to stay safe. Meanwhile, in a nearby cabin, Period is hanging out with a girl, discussing Yangu. She thanks him for saving her life, but complains her leg is hurting badly and slyly asks him for a massage. Smitten, the boy eagerly agrees to help, but internally, the girl is laughing at how easy men are to manipulate, already planning to use him to wipe out other players. While the two act lovey-dovey inside the cabin, some guys outside discuss the monsters invading the real world, realizing they could score insane experience points by hunting them down. Inside, the fake couple keeps flirting, while a glasses-wearing boy outside assumes their leader plans to eradicate all the invading beasts. Now pay attention here. In a distant castle, Valkyrie is on her knees begging Lord Baya for forgiveness, claiming she deserves to die for her failure. Lord B simply asks if she actually understands the power of the key. He explains that the key is more than just an item preventing the world fusion, which is exactly why her mission ended in failure. Valkyrie protests that her low-level opponent somehow knew all her moves, begging for one more chance to kill him. But the Lord coldly cuts her off, revealing he already sent Quilu to finish the job. This furious news means she won't get her personal revenge on Yangu. Meanwhile, back in the city, chaos erupts as monsters continue their invasion, leaving a terrified girl collapsed on the pavement. But our hero tells her not to panic as he steps up to save the city from a giant blue beetle. Ready for battle, Wong prepares his strike, declaring that no matter how massive the enemy, a bug is still just a bug. He obliterates it in one hit, leveling up instantly. He is thrilled to hit a 15 times experience multiplier. But to defeat Period, he must reach level 15, where skills and stats drastically evolve. Interrupting his thoughts, the blue-haired girl he saved approaches, totally amazed by his power. She starts flirting with Juan, begging him to be her personal bodyguard, but he quickly shuts her down. Suddenly, a volley of arrows rains down. Raising his sword, the boy shoves the girl away, warning her to be careful. With supreme reflexes, he slices most arrows in mid-air, though a few graze him. Unfazed, our hero immediately analyzes his attackers, realizing they must be level 15 archers who just unlocked their advanced class. He concludes these shots were fired by a master sniper. High up on a skyscraper, the enemy archer tells his partner in disbelief that someone actually dodged his assault. His friend quickly identifies him as Wong, urging they steal his kill. Now, watch closely as this arrogant archer unleashes another massive storm of arrows on our hero. Down on the streets, our hero looks up to see another wave of arrows. Annoyed, he recognizes the Tianjia Guild, wondering why they are slaughtering innocent bystanders. Rushing into action, he screams at the girl to run, since she isn't their target. Suddenly, a blazing fireball resembling a miniature sun erupts right before his eyes. A massive explosion detonates, showering the street in debris. Atop the skyscraper, the archer snaps at his mage companion for shamelessly trying to steal his kill. However, the smart kid with glasses intervenes, pointing out that since no notification popped up, their target is definitely still alive. Slightly annoyed by Xingqi's orders, the hunters leap from the skyscraper to finish Wang. The nerdy mage left behind warns that they are severely underestimating our protagonist, but his ally tells him to chill out. Smirking, the clever boy claims he is completely relaxed because his master plan guarantees he will be the ultimate victor. In a safe corner, our injured hero drinks a healing potion to restore his health, swearing vengeance on Tianjia once he advances his class. But his thoughts are cut short as a massive titan centipede erupts from the earth, ready to obliterate the area. Slamming the empty bottle down, Wang smirks, ready to show those punks they messed with the absolute wrong guy. Meanwhile, a small blast rocks a nearby bridge as the arrogant archer wipes out a swarm of weak monsters, racking up easy coin rewards. Spotting our protagonist on the run, the archer mistakenly assumes he is fleeing in terror. Mocking him as mere prey, he prepares another barrage, eager to eliminate him like a sport. Wang reaches the titan centipede, using its massive armor to block the incoming arrows. He notes that the archer's advanced class skills actually manage to damage the giant beast. The archer quickly realizes his massive mistake when the enraged giant centipede locks its eyes right onto him. Nearby, Xingqi smiles, pleased with their current monster hunt. The mage wonders where their sniper ran off to, but his leader brushes it off, focusing entirely on hunting down Wang. Looking ahead, they are shocked to see their teammate sprinting for his life from the titan centipede. The leader yells, demanding to know why he triggered a world boss alone. The glasses-wearing mage sighs, assuming he wanted all the experience points for himself, and warns the team to brace for a brutal boss fight. Following a grueling clash, both the squad and the boss are down to critical health. Exhausted, the guild members panic, but their leader urges them to push through to the end. Suddenly, Wang leaps into the fray, cheerfully offering to lend a hand since they look so tired. The stunned guild members realize he is about to steal their kill. Furious, they watch him slash at the boss, losing their minds over the fact that he hid the entire time just to steal their hard-earned loot. Enraged, Xingqi orders his squad to obliterate him. However, a teammate yells a warning. The kid just reached level 15, and his raw power is too insane to approach. Skipping basic classes like warrior or mage, Wan unlocks his true calling as a destiny master. As a seer, he is determined to seize his own future. By bending destiny, he builds up luck points to trigger insane phenomena. Clueless of the danger, the enemy attacks, mocking his class choice as absolute trash. Laughing, our hero reveals his legendary new attire, ready to show his true potential. He explains his broken luck bar lets him ignore any attacks without a karma bar. Trust me, you and I are going to have a wild ride watching him dominate with this overpowered class. Alright, you and I are jumping right into the action as Wang commands everyone to look up, summoning massive flaming meteors that catches enemies completely off guard. Laughing, our main character explains this is the evil calamity star of the sky, fueled by pure bad luck. It only has a 1% chance to trigger, but it deals 10 times more damage, which is absolutely devastating. Following a massive explosion, the Tianjia Guild players are left heavily battered and bleeding. Yet, even in his ruined state, Cassini desperately vows he will get his revenge. Stepping forward, Wang points his blade right at the guy. He heard every single word, and now it is time to settle the score for his companions. Suddenly, a woman blocks his path, begging our protagonist to spare a contractor who was forced into the Tianjia Guild. Wang does not care, prompting the desperate woman to offer him absolutely anything in exchange for the young man's life. Left completely speechless, our boy admits he never expected an offer like that. Pulling her close, he warns her not to regret this because there is no going back. Furious, Kenshi screams at our hero for stealing his non-player character, calling him an incredibly cruel monster. Clutching the girl, Wang boldly declares that beautiful women belong to the strong, mocking the boy for losing so embarrassingly. Even if game characters enter the real world, specialists like him will always rule supreme. Walking away, Wang ends the talk by letting the kid off this once. Later, he sets the blue-haired woman down, only for her to refuse any contract with him. Laughing it off, he tells her not to worry because he does not want that either. Our hero only wanted to teach Esseni a quick lesson, but that clearly failed because nearby, the angry boy is already planning to end his life and reclaim his partner. Suddenly, a mysterious woman interrupts the group, demanding to know Wang's location and promising a painless death to anyone who speaks up. The archer readies his bow, but you and I know he's completely outclassed by this mysterious newcomer. Leaping forward to land a devastating strike, she mocks their ignorance of the massive level gap, claiming she has no interest in torture. As the boys scream under her brutal blade, we can see that only one of them remains alive. Closing in, she calmly asks how he wants to be finished off. Dropping to his knees, the terrified boy begs for his life, promising to reveal Wang's exact location to avoid making an enemy in the game. Smirking, she secretly laughs that she only spared him to extract info, never expecting the coward to break so incredibly fast. Out loud, she offers to help and hands him a strange fruit to eat. Instantly, the non-player character traveling with Wang senses that her contract with the boy has just been broken. Furious, she grabs Wang's collar, demanding to know why he killed her contractor after promising mercy. Confused, our hero explains that if he wanted him dead, he would have finished it earlier, suggesting a monster did the deed. Saddened, she wonders how that is possible since he was surrounded by allies, but Wang points out it was likely a powerful boss. Tearfully, the stranded character begs Wang to form a new contract with her. Blushing, our protagonist awkwardly replies he must ask his wife for permission first. Suddenly, the ground violently trembles and splits open as a massive demonic cockroach emerges, eager to hunt players. Clinging to Wang, the terrified girl asks what that horror is, but he casually calls it a southern cockroach. Judging by its sheer scale, this beast is definitely a dungeon boss. Weapon in hand, our hero warns the girl to stand back. Before he can swing, a figure leaps in and slices the monster in two with a single blow. It is Egg Jingxi, now looking like a floral, green Hulk, asking Wang how it feels to have his kill stolen. Stunned, Wang questions his identity, his bizarre green look, and how he knows his name. Roaring, the mutated beast reveals who he is, blaming Wang entirely for stealing his companion. He rants that human failure has limits unless you discard humanity itself. Bewildered, his former partner asks why he became a monster, while Wang demands to know his true plan. Grinning, the flower-clad beast simply replies he was tired of being a weak human. Watching from a distance, the mastermind is shocked that her fruit actually caused this bizarre mutation. You and I know our hero is in deep trouble as the beast lunges at Wang, roaring that he can ask his questions once he arrives in hell. Naturally, our boy dodges the heavy strike, sending his opponent into a pure rage. Sprouting plant tentacles from his arm, Singji boasts that he knows exactly how to tear Wang apart. Grabbing his former companion, he warns Wang to stand perfectly still if he wants her to survive. Irritated, Wang yells back that the coward only knows how to take hostages. But the monster does not care, tightening his tight grip around the girl until she screams in agony. Wang dryly remarks that this hostage plan is incredibly stupid, since his true companion is Jay Sufu, and he does not need another one anyway. This only enrages Pexing further, who rants about his terrible luck with a companion who has zero actual combat skills. He complains that her only redeeming quality was her beauty, yet she still rejected his romantic advances, leaving him completely humiliated. Because he spent too much time talking, the plant beast only notices Wang moving when his tentacles get sliced off. Wang swiftly frees the terrified girl and catches her in his arms before she hits the ground. Setting her down gently, he tells the monster that without her, he would be absolutely nothing, so he should be grateful instead of complaining. The creature tells him to shut up, roaring that since Wang was chosen by the strongest Valkyrie, he could never understand his pain. Unleashing a projectile from his mouth, the beast attacks, but our hero easily blocks it, declaring that the Valkyrie chose him for his strength. That is why he is destined to save this world. Though slashed by the blade, the beast laughs that attacks are useless against his fast regeneration. Activating his data awakening skill, Wang scans his opponent to find a weak point and end this clash. He quickly spots a fruit-shaped lump right in the monster's stomach. Preparing his final strike, Wang activates his luck burst to guarantee a critical hit, charging forward with everything he has. He drives his sword straight into the glowing weak spot. The devastating impact instantly drains the beast's health pool to almost zero, leaving the creature completely stunned. As the monster crashes down, his entire inventory is automatically looted, making our hero feel like a total thief. Stepping closer, his former companion says a silent prayer, wishing him peace. Wang wonders who could have transformed him into such a nightmare, and right on cue, the mastermind finally shows her face. Since they had met before, she reintroduces herself. She goes by the name Emerald, and her sole mission is to take Wang's life. Recognizing her, Wang asks if she and Ruby are the notorious assassins from the virtual world. Confirming this, Emerald asks if he can analyze her weak spots too, boasting that even if he can, he still will not stand a chance against her. Suddenly, massive plant vines erupt from the ground, binding our protagonist tightly. Trapped, he struggles to breathe and finds his skills completely locked. Approaching, she sneers that unlike that idiot Ruby, she despises close combat. Meanwhile, the red-haired Valkyrie recovers in her room, suddenly sensing that someone is talking about her behind her back. Grabbing a tentacle, the vicious woman promises to make him suffer. Stick with me to see if our hero can survive this brutal torment in the next episode. You and I are jumping right into the heat of battle as Emerald mocks Wang, asking how it feels to get beaten in the real world before blasting him away. While his new ally panics, Emerald decides she is done playing around. Battered and bruised, our boy struggles to his feet, claiming he is fine despite his body burning like crazy. Urgently searching his inventory while his luck gauge charges, Wang desperately looks for a way out. That is when he spots the mysterious key Ammon grabbed earlier, wondering if this random item could actually double as a deadly weapon. Deciding to risk it all, he prays that his luck holds out. Meanwhile, Emerald charges up her final spell, promising to reduce him to absolute ashes and declare an early game over. As a massive green energy blast surges toward them, the key reacts to his recent class advancement. Suddenly, a notification pops up, granting him access to the weapon's true power. The key instantly morphs into the legendary Chan Hong God's Blade, a colossal sword wrapped in roaring flames. Raising his new fiery weapon, Wang prepares to send her own attack right back at her. With a flash, the sword's holy barrier and mirror reflection trigger, completely stopping the deadly magic spell in its tracks. Stunned, Emerald realizes this must be the legendary key power Bear warned her about. But before she can react, her own blast detonates right in her face, kicking up a massive cloud of dust. Behind him, the worried companion asks if she is finally defeated. Wang just sighs, noting that whenever someone asks that, the enemy is definitely still standing. Sure enough, Emerald emerges from the smoke, coughing wildly. Bleeding and humiliated, she screams that he made a fool of her. But before she retreats, she must report this key power to her superiors. Slamming her hands down, she triggers an escape spell, summoning a violent wind and lightning storm. When the storm clears, the boss is completely gone. Wang stands there, scratching his head, wondering why she suddenly ran away. Now pay attention here, because the stats on his new sword are absolutely ridiculous, easily beating most S-rank items. Get this, he can literally reflect any long-range projectile every 30 seconds. Wang just grins as his new ally stares in utter disbelief, admitting she originally thought he was just a low-level trickster. Swallowing her pride, she formally asks if she can tag along on his epic quest. Gently placing his hand on her head, he asks if she is absolutely sure she wants to bind herself to him. Without hesitation, she nods, ready to commit. Accepting her oath, Wang agrees to the pact and welcomes her to the team. Instantly, the game system prompts him, asking if he accepts the official companion contract with the young lady. Without hesitating, he hits accept. She smiles, promising to do her best as his official partner, though she sheepishly apologizes for being weak and only offering a tiny boost. Wang laughs it off, saying even a minor buff is a big win. Opening her stat sheet, he sees her unique skill increases potion healing effects by 10%. She keeps apologizing for her low stats, but Wang reassures her that extra healing is always a lifesaver. He then tells her to follow him so they can shut down the anomaly together. Standing before a massive, swirling portal, he asks how they are supposed to close it. She has no clue, leaving Wang to wonder if his legendary key might do the trick. He slides the fiery blade into a slot that matches perfectly. It works, but suddenly the lock starts pulling his weapon deep inside, shocking him as his companion shouts for him to be careful. Out of nowhere, a hideous worm beast bursts from the earth, snapping its massive jaws at him. But before it can bite, a flurry of blue blades slices the monster to pieces. It is Jig Sufu, arriving just in time and explaining that his class advancement has fully restored her legendary powers. We both know he is thrilled to see his wife back, but her smile fades instantly as she glares at him, demanding to know why on earth he just signed a contract with another girl standing right beside him. Furious, she asks if she has been replaced after just a few hours apart. Then her eyes widen as she recognizes the girl as another player's former companion. Wang panics, begging her to let him explain the long story. Backing away, Jig Sufu cold shoulders him, asking if she belonged to Shang-Chi. Wang defends himself, calling the guy trash, but she snaps back that stealing companions is still wrong. Desperate, he explains that her previous contractor broke the bond first, and only then did she willingly sign with him. The quiet girl quickly nods, confirming every word of his story. Sighing in relief, his powerful wife admits she is glad he is still a good guy, sweetly teasing that she always trusted him from the very start. Quickly changing the subject, Wang asks how Ammon is doing. Sufu reassures him that she and her partner are totally fine, busy grinding mobs nearby. The scene shifts to the girls locked in battle. The bespectacled Ammon chains her lightning magic while her partner hurls a massive fireball, roasting and shocking the beasts simultaneously. Their combined elements trigger a massive explosion, obliterating the beast. Hyped up, Ammon realizes she can finally advance her class, but wants to ask Wang which path is best. Xiaobei rolls her eyes, reminding her that Elemental Apprentice is obviously the perfect fit. Ammon agrees she is probably right, but since Wang is her trusted leader, she wants his expert opinion first. Back with Wang, he unseals the portal while keeping an eye out for rogue beasts. Suddenly, his blade chimes in, notifying him that the secret Bug Island coordinates are saved, letting him open a temporary gate whenever he wants. Wang grins, realizing he can fast travel back to this high-level farming spot anytime he wants. Just then, Xiaobei and Ammon run up, amazed that he cleared the zone. Without even waiting for a reply, Ammon eagerly asks which specialization she should lock in. Wang just smiles, knowing every single class path inside out. He explains that while Elemental Apprentice is strong, her wild friendly fire would wreck the team, whereas Mage and Summoner take way too long to scale up. The hidden Kaleidoscope Maiden path is definitely her best bet. Excited, she instantly clicks the button and locks it in without hesitation. Wang suddenly panics and yells at her to stop, remembering the ridiculous outfit tied to that class. But Xiaobei sighs, telling him she already accepted and the evolution has started. A flashy new outfit begins to wrap around her as she dramatically recites a cheesy chant about love, justice, and magical girl courage. The flashy transformation finishes, leaving her with vibrant red hair and a ridiculous magical witch outfit. Spinning around to show off, she finds her friends staring at her with deadpan, unimpressed faces. Blushing hard, she screams, demanding to know what kind of joke class this is, and why her character forced her to shout those cringe lines. Wang explains that she can now cast every single element for massive damage, but she has to do the cringe transformation every time. Shaking, she begs to reset her class to avoid the outfit, but Wang tells her she is stuck with it. Meanwhile, high up in a dark mountain fortress, a frustrated voice complains about their carelessness. It is Emerald, reporting to Ruby that Wang somehow unlocked the secret power of that ancient key. Her partner mocks her sour face, asking if the kid beat her up. Emerald snaps back, explaining she got overwhelmed by a newly class advanced player wielding a literal god-level weapon. But hey, at least she did not get trashed by him at level 10 and end up begging for her life. Ruby snaps back but gets grabbed by glowing green tentacles. Except, the real Ruby is right behind her, laughing because even Wang can see through that cheap trick. And that is where we leave it, trust me. You and I won't want to miss what comes next. Let's dive in as a clash begins. But another Valkyrie cuts in. Furious, they dare disturb Lord B's sleep. Instantly, the two women drop to their knees, desperately begging for mercy. Emerald silently scoffs at Aster for acting so high and mighty when she is just an assistant. Meanwhile, Ba asks if it is true that Wang learned to use the key, completely unfazed. But since the young man chose to block his path, Ba decides to send him a little gift, a dark warning of what is coming. Back in the real world, our main character and his crew notice a heavy, dark vibe in the air. Checking the news, they find monster outbreaks everywhere. Mammon is just glad their city has Wang nearby. Smirking, our boy hypes himself up as the absolute strongest player in the world. But right then, the sky turns pitch black and a massive portal cracks open, catching everyone off guard. Shobia screams that it is a legendary spell called Genesis Requiem, while the others yell that they need to run right now. Shaking with fear, the pink-eyed girl warns there is no escape. When her friend asks why she is so terrified, she explains the spell is unblockable. Running away will save absolutely nobody. The laws of nature will twist and reduce the city to dust. When Wang asks who could do this, she says only a demon god tier mage at the peak of magic can. Meaning this is the work of Baya, the ultimate boss of the Black Sanctuary dungeon. High on his throne, the creepy mage smirks, hoping Wang enjoys his little present. Suddenly, a colossal beam of purple and pink lightning strikes down. It slams into the city buildings, triggering a massive shockwave that echoes for miles. Debris rains down as panic spreads through the streets. One guy tries to film the chaos, but gets struck down, screaming in agony as explosions tear through the city one after another. Terrified drivers try to escape the gridlock, but get vaporized on the spot. Above, a massive cloud of raw energy hovers over the ruins. Chio excitedly points out that even a level 99 player at their peak class change could never survive a hit from this spell. But Wang steps up, determined to deflect the magic and throw it right back at the caster. Clutching his glowing yellow artifact, he launches himself straight into the sky. Watch closely here as he gets in position. He tries to redirect that insane mountain of energy. But his weapon flashes a critical system error, warning that a sudden power drop could wipe his data. Panicking, the boy begs his sword to hold on. He is the strongest player, after all, and he has to protect his friends even if it costs him his life. Out of nowhere, another pair of hands grips his blade. It is Jig Sufu, smiling as she tells him this is the brave Wang she knows. She teases him for trying to fight solo when he always claims she is his wife. Grinning widely, our hero agrees that they should team up as a couple and blast this spell right back. A deafening scream echoes through the void as gold light tears through the purple sky, exposing Lord Bai's realm. Looking around in utter shock, Wang desperately calls out to check if Jig Sufu is alright, but suddenly he realizes he has landed in a completely strange area. And worse, his wife is gone. A mysterious voice calls him Survivor 13, asking if he is finally awake. It explains this shelter was built by Master Long, and that he has been in a coma for 7 days. Confused and alarmed, the young man demands to know what happened to the survivors and the city during his week of sleep. The android girl explains the city was vaporized by a massive energy blast, leaving a survival rate below 0.1%. In that instant, reality hits him. Despite calling himself the strongest, he failed to save anyone. Pulling him into a tight hug, the robot girl casually states that since he is the last surviving human, they should start repopulating together. Wang is completely left speechless. Suddenly, she pins him onto the bed, saying she is down for any position. Our hero assumes this must be a joke, but remembers Master Long programmed her with specific protocols. She literally cannot joke if her sensors detect any signs of trauma or depression. Still, Wang realizes her creator had one seriously twisted sense of humor. So, he decides to follow the android to find his friends. She explains she only saved Wang because of her protocols to search for local survivors, though she has no clue where the others are right now. Suddenly, our hero spots his friends and waves. Everyone gets incredibly hyped to see Wang alive and well, though two of the girls instantly start throwing fierce glares at each other. I know what you were thinking, classic harem tension, right? Everyone was worried sick, so Wang starts teasing the girl who refuses to admit how anxious she was. Confused, he asks about the other survivors, but the group explains they did not trust this shelter and left. Looking around, our hero realizes this flimsy base has almost zero security. Suddenly, a red alert blares out a monster invasion. Low growls echo closer and closer as a horde of beasts closes in on the terrified kids running for their lives. The monsters drool at the sight of fresh human prey, eager to tear them apart. Instantly, the android girl begins to materialize a massive weapon, executing her combat protocols. She is fully prepped to exterminate them when Wang steps in, asking to handle it. After a week-long coma, he needs a good warm-up, especially since he feels surprisingly stronger now. A terrifying wolf beast lunges with razor-sharp claws, but gets stopped cold by a rock to the skull. The rest of the crew stands ready to back him up with their skills. One girl casts a quick water bomb spell, blasting a monster backward. Now that the targets are locked down, they can begin cleaning house. With a swift blade strike, the robot clean cuts a monster in half in under 5 seconds. Watching his new companion dominate, Wang realizes he might not even get a turn to test his new powers. But lurking behind the tree line, a massive shadow watches the battle and slowly steps forward. The beast growls that he let his underlings have their fun, but did not expect them to get slaughtered. But this is no mere grunt, he is a level 30 warrior monkey Laz, ready to crush them all. Detecting the off-the-charts power level of this new threat, the robot urgently warns that their best option is to run immediately. But Wang is practically drooling for a real fight. Sensing the showdown, the giant monkey charges, but our hero is already set in a perfect guard stance, ready for anything. Instantly, the two trade heavy blows. A massive shockwave detonates between them, and Wang notices his health bar has actually taken a hit. Shaking off bloody hands, this level 30 beast is clearly elite tier. Smirking, the monkey boasts he can end them with one punch, completely ignoring that his hands are burning up into ash. Our main character now has a much deeper grasp of this game world. Locking eyes on his target, he unleashes a new skill, data corruption. Pure rage consumes the beast as he roars that this is not over. He warns that his tribe has countless elite warriors who will tear him to pieces. But Wang does not look worried at all, fully confident he will crush every last one of them. Meanwhile, past a wooden wall, terrified screams ring out as a sadistic horned girl enjoys the show. Helpless, a hostage tied to the bed begs for his life, crying that he has a family to protect. The woman pauses, pretending to care, before brutally slicing his throat because he is too weak to satisfy her. Trust me, you and I are going to want to see what happens when she meets our overpowered main character. For now, she orders her scout to find the missing monkey warrior. All right, you and I are jumping right into a wild ride. Sitting on her throne, the level 30 beast queen, Fang Lin, planned her next move. Meanwhile, everyone celebrated their narrow victory, thanking our overpowered protagonist for saving them. They were heading toward the official refugee camp when rumors of a heavy military presence reached them. Assessing the situation, they discussed how this wild region crawled with monsters. Suddenly, the robot turned to leave, claiming her mission was done. But Wang Yangshu grabbed her arm, asking her to help escort the citizens. She replied she was hardwired to follow Master Long unless someone bought her. Hearing she cost 100,000 coins, our hero realized that was a steal for a magical puppet. Gathered around a massive fig tree, a man explained how the military had initially evacuated them from the city, but mid-journey, they hit a bulletproof monster. Over the next week, things collapsed everywhere, with giant beasts and monsters capable of wiping out entire cities roaming free. Beside him, a girl watched our clearly frustrated hero, who hated that he couldn't protect the city. But before she could comfort him, the robot detected his mood shift and squeezed him tight. The puppet hugged him to activate her built-in calming protocols. Weapon raised, the girl demanded to know what kind of weird command this was, but the terrified hero swore he did not order it. Eventually, the group went to sleep to prepare for an early start. But Wang Yangshu stayed awake, wandering alone through the pitch-black forest. His only goal was to find a quiet spot to pee, but the puppet followed him deep into the woods. Spotting her, he awkwardly asked why she was not powered down and sleeping. She explained she did not need food, water, or sleep, just recharges of electricity or mana. Then, our hero made a weird request, asking if she could smile more because her blank face was kind of creepy. Built with emotionless bionic muscles, smiling was impossible since it was purely human. But now that they were officially partners, he decided she desperately needed a proper name. From that moment on, her name was Alice. She did not actually understand what the word partner meant, but that was a lesson for another day. Sitting alone, Alice pondered the human definition of partner, someone trustworthy sharing the same goals. She could not comprehend it, since she viewed herself as a mere tool. Now pay attention, because out of nowhere, a blade pierces her chest. A woman mocks her, and Alice collapses as Lady Lean steps out, confident no one survives that strike. The Beast Queen hoped her next prey would put up a better fight, but suddenly, Alice begins self-repairing and grabs her attacker's leg. Her combat capacity was slashed to 60%, but her diagnostics ordered her to fight on. Lean turned, staring in shock at the doll who should absolutely be dead by now. Alice introduced herself as a level 25 mechanized demon doll, while the dark clouds continued to swirl ominously above the forest. Having finished his business, Wang Yangshu felt much lighter, but a sudden chill ran down his spine, and before he could even pull up his pants, a weird monster ambushed him. Realizing they were spotted, the monsters ordered each other to kill the human and report to their boss. Amused, our hero asked who exactly this boss was. But he is not worried, completely trusting Alice to handle patrol duty. Meanwhile, back at the clearing, Alice is literally falling apart, losing her arm to the beast. Still, she refused to back down from the threat. Annoyed, Lady Lean kept thrashing her, boasting about her superior strength. With her systems failing, Alice calculated her chance of winning was under 1%. But she had one final, desperate option left. Summoning every ounce of her remaining power, the demon doll charged directly at the baffled queen. Locking her arms around, Lean in a tight embrace, dark energy pulsed from her core as the black box system unlocked. Instantly, she triggered her self-destruction sequence. A massive explosion tore through the forest, blasting debris everywhere. The blast completely obliterated Alice, leaving only her head, yet the Beast Queen stood there completely unharmed. Alice could not believe her ultimate sacrifice did 0 damage. Meanwhile, our hero was running back, annoyed by those trash orcs, when a massive blast shook the ground. Sensing danger, he slowed his pace, dreading what lay ahead. Then, he froze in sheer horror at the sight of Alice. Lying under the queen's foot, Alice apologized for failing the mission due to lost capacity. Smiling weakly, she assured him he would get a full refund to buy a better doll. I know what you are thinking. Surely she would show mercy, right? Nope. Lean instantly crushes Alice's head, leaving our hero staring in absolute disbelief at his gun and landed on Best Slayer Style A, granting him a 50% boost to damage and defense, plus bonus damage on critical weak spots. With a killer gaze, the hunt was officially on. He sprinted forward, ready to fight, while Lean grinned, thrilled that her prey did not run away. She assumed his tiny frame was no match for her Beast Queen strength, but as he lunged with a clenched fist, Lean gasped as a sudden, agonizing pain ripped through her stomach. Unleashing his own signature fighting style, he drove his hand forward, smashing it directly into the queen's arrogant face. He cold-bloodedly declared that he was just getting started. Unable to react to his insane speed, Lean could do nothing but take blow after brutal blow. Leaping into the air, our hero literally took flight, raining down a relentless barrage of punches on Lean. Helpless, her grand, imposing aura began to crumble under the assault. A shockwave erupted, sending dust flying. The queen reeled in disbelief, unable to comprehend losing to a low-level weakling. He coldly admitted he normally avoided hurting beautiful women, but this was payback for Alice. Those words only enraged Lean further, as she took pride in being far more than just some pretty face. She disarmed him in a flash, closing the distance to hoist his body onto her back. Lean absolutely loathed being underestimated. She was a warrior first. As our hero tried to break free, he realized he was dealing with a legendary tier monster. But his thoughts cut short as she locked her legs around his neck. Another powerful shockwave blasted the area. Wang Yang's shoe started losing strength, gasping for air as his vision blurred. Lean squeezed his neck tighter and tighter, completely determined to suffocate him, until his body was completely drained of life. She mocked him, saying a pervert like him was probably enjoying this. But our hero did not flinch. He bit her hard. Shuddering in pain, she had to let go of her chokehold. Slipping away, he scrambled to his feet to prepare for round 2. Lean simply could not fathom how a weak player dared to defy her. Not only did he bite her tail without a second thought, but he swore his only goal was to end her. Trust me, you and I need to see what happens next. Stick with me because we are diving straight into a brutal battle where gender does not matter, only survival. Our hero is facing a warrior who actually recognizes him by name. Charging forward, she screams that he is a prey worth remembering. Closing the distance, our protagonist yells back the exact same thing to Lean. Then, their massive powers collide head-on. Fists fly from every angle as they smash each other in the face. A massive explosion erupts, sending fire and rocks flying. Lean laughs maniacally while Wang Yangsu lies defeated in a giant crater. The demonic warrior gloats, showing off her overwhelming strength. But suddenly, realizing the heavy toll of her self-destructive move, she drops to her knees in pure despair. Even at the very end, Queen Lean remains incredibly proud. But player Wang Yangsu gets the kill, unlocking a legendary title and a 1% attribute boost. Night falls, and our battered hero drags himself back to camp. Despite his bleeding wounds, his only focus is making sure everyone else is safe. Before he can explain the crazy fight, he collapses right into the girl's arms. She panics, crying as she cradles him. Then he drops the devastating news Alice died protecting them all. She tries her best to comfort him, feeling the absolute weight of his grief. The other girl watches blankly, unable to feel his sorrow. Unfortunately, because of their level difference, fixing Alice is impossible right now. He could only salvage her broken pieces from the blast. With the magical puppet completely destroyed, they must guide the refugees to the shelter. But as they travel, they notice a massive crowd blocked up ahead. They finally reach the safe zone, hoping for some rest. But the endless crowd outside is a mess. It turns out, guards are strictly checking everyone's identity before letting them in. The waiting crowd is getting angry and impatient. Suddenly, the gates swing open, and a hostile guard demands to know who is causing all this noise. He cold-bloodedly threatens to execute anyone who disobeys, even children. His thugs even point their deadly weapons right at a terrified little girl clutching her toy. Our protagonist steps in, calling them out for aiming guns at a literal kid. Seeing his high-end gear, the guard leader suddenly takes a massive interest. She steps closer, telling him that official players get immediate entry into the city. Now pay attention here, because just as he questions this VIP treatment, terrifying screams echo everywhere. A massive monster is heading straight for them. Everyone watches in horror as a level 50 dragon arrives. This elite nightmare beast starts burning everything in sight with its devastating breath. Wang Yangsu urges them to evacuate the civilians immediately so he can handle it. But the woman mocks his low level, telling him to back off. Just then, a giant mech called Jupiter 1 appears. This massive weapon was built by top players to crush monsters immune to normal weapons. The pilot immediately locks onto the giant dragon, marking it as a medium threat. Wang Yangsu watches in awe as the lady explains this is the power of true players. Up in the cockpit, the pilot, Asuka, prepares to show off. She plans to end this beast with a single, devastating strike. She hammers the launch button, but her initial charge turns out to be a terrible mistake. The dragon fights back instantly, spitting a massive fireball. The lady facepalms, realizing the pilot has zero real combat experience as the deadly blast closes in. The direct hit shakes the giant mech, knocking it off balance. With damage reaching 20%, Asuka starts panicking, realizing her big debut is going horribly wrong. They need backup fast. But as the woman tells our hero to find a safe hiding spot, she turns around and realizes he is already gone. Wang Yang-su suddenly breaks into the cockpit, leaving a shocked Asuka wondering who he is. Ignoring her confusion, he tells her to follow his exact orders if she wants to survive. He warns her that a devastating headbutt is coming next. Sure enough, the level 50 dragon charges in with a massive head strike. The impact throws Asuka off balance, sending her tumbling right onto his lap. Flustered and desperate, she decides to put all her trust in his commands. And trust me, we both know what comes next, the perfect opening. He explains the dragon always charges a fireball after melee hits, so they must interrupt it now. Following his lead, she smashes the beast's head. With the dragon stunned, he orders her to activate the Spiral Photon Destroyer. Jupiter 1 spins like a wild tornado, sucking the boss right into the vortex. Asuka cheers happily, thinking the battle is already won. But our experienced hero warns her to wait for the system kill confirmation. Sure enough, the dragon rises again, taking to the skies. The enraged level 50 beast enters a frenzy, preparing its ultimate move. Asuka panics, knowing their mech cannot survive the incoming hellfire torment. But Wang Yang-su is already leaping out of the hatch, standing tall on the mech's head as raw energy surges through him. The giant fireball rushes toward him, but he grips his blade and activates his ultimate skill to reflect the attack. The massive blast bounces off his magical barrier and flies right back, hitting the dragon with its own deadly flames. Wang Yang-su delivers the final blow, earning a rare crystal and a dragon egg. Nearby, high-level players realize someone stole their kill. Furious at having their prize stolen, the hostile group approaches. Stepping down from the mech, our hero calmly asks them what they want. They draw their weapons, demanding he surrender all his rare loot. Our hero is just stunned by their sheer audacity to rob him. They claim they are just claiming their fair share. Then, one of the thugs spots the beautiful girl next to him and offers to let him go if she joins them. Suddenly, our hero snaps their weapon in half, warning them never to point a gun at his wife again. In this world, gear can be permanently broken. He pulls his wife close to protect her, coldly promising that next time, he won't just break their weapon, he will aim for their skulls. The thugs are about to attack this low-level player, but the giant mech interrupts them. From the cockpit, Asuka threatens to stomp anyone who keeps making noise. The lady steps in, telling them to calm down. She promises their guild will compensate for any lost gear. The thugs retreat, swearing vengeance. The lady then turns to Wang Yang-su, welcoming him and inviting him to check out the city built by the Royal Union. Unsure if they can trust these people, they explore the area. Our hero is shocked by the endless sea of refugee tents, but that is just the outer area. As the gates open, they finally enter the massive, glowing city. Trust me, you do not want to miss our next chapter. All right, you and I are jumping into a world where corridors glow and vendors literally peddle Dragon Slayer gear alongside sexy NPC lingerie. Talk about a wild start. Kaxia Kayun explains that over 1,000 players throng this city, and the budget is limitless. Staring at a display of outfits, our hero gets hooked and begs his wife to play dress-up. She is not having it, completely annoyed by his suggestive comments. But Wan Yangu actually has a plan disguised the world's strongest Valkyrie so they can keep a low profile. With her on board, the hero has to pick a decent public outfit for his deadly wife. But just as he decides, a strange voice calls out to him. Then complete silence. Blushing hard, she steps out in her new outfit, waiting for his thoughts. Stunned by her beauty, he steps closer, gets pushed away, and they both lose their balance. Talk about an awkward landing. Lying on the floor, their faces are inches apart. They lock eyes in silence until she nervously tells him to get off before someone sees them. Flustered, he scrambles up, praying she does not despise him now. Hand in hand, they keep moving while our main character calls out for Mammon and Chio. The others immediately tease that Jag Sufu's new look was handpicked by the master. Quickly changing the subject, he asks if they bought anything. Turns out, great spells cost way too much. Suddenly, another girl rushes over with stars in her eyes. She wants a portable barbecue set to cook stat-boosting dishes for her beloved master. He laughs, realizing everyone wants to spend. But Wang Yang-shu is flat broke right now. He needs to liquidate some monster loot, and that is when Saiyan approaches him. Now pay attention here, she totally gets the struggle of being broke. She suggests trading their monster loot directly with the powerful Royal Union to make some quick, serious cash. Grabbing his arm, she insists they head to a more private room before they start talking business. This private lounge is soundproofed with heavy mana, making it the perfect spot for shady deals. He pulls out a rare dragon crystal, ready to negotiate. Crossing her legs, Kayan smiles, admitting the Union can definitely use a dragon crystal. She offers 5 million gold plus a VIP membership for future discounts. But our hero is no fool. He knows this baby is worth at least 50 million. A tense silence fills the room as they size each other up. Mind games are in full swing. Gaxi Kayan threatens to walk away, calling him greedy, but our guy knows the exact value of his hard-earned loot. To throw him off, she literally strips off her jacket and bumps her offer to 10 million. Despite blushing, our hero stands firm, demanding 45 million. She tries to push him further by kicking off her shoes, desperately offering 15 million as her final price. But Wang Yangshu refuses to budge, asking for 43 million. Eventually, she is down to her underwear. Realizing she cannot break this guy, she finally folds and agrees to buy the crystal for 40 million. Still, the Union always wins because they take a cut of every deal. Our warrior just stands there speechless, taking in the whole wild view. Wang Yangshu then unloads random junk like gold teeth and high heels, which she eagerly buys. He is handed a black envelope, officially making him a rich man. Next, she invites him to an exclusive auction featuring bizarre goods, like NPC slaves. Shocked, our hero thinks he is way too decent for that nonsense. But Kayan mentions they are also auctioning giant mechs like the Jupiter 1. Hearing that, Wang Yangshu is instantly sold. He absolutely needs a giant robot. So you and I find ourselves waiting with him inside the quiet auction hall. Finally, the Royal Union host takes the stage, and the bidding officially begins. The opening item is a group of level 15 dark forest elves. Dropping the curtain reveals them chained by their necks, with bids starting at 300,000 gold. Instantly, the creepy crowd goes wild, shouting out higher and higher bids. Meanwhile, the captive elves are absolutely disgusted, begging to be put out of their misery. Bids quickly rocket past 3 million and keep climbing. Wang Yangshu realizes the entire room is packed with total creeps. His wife curiously asks if he supports this human trafficking, which he quickly denies. Ultimately, the elves are sold to a VIP buyer for 3 million gold. Suddenly, wild flames erupt across the stage to introduce the next item. The entire audience feels an intense wave of heat washing over the room. It is the legendary Purgatory Sword, causing massive burn damage with every strike. Jigsaw asks for his opinion on it, but after a quick glance, he calls it complete garbage. His own divine blade can easily shatter S-class gear, so this cheap fire effect is just useless decoration. His wife realizes he sees things regular players cannot. Multiple items sell for insane prices as the auction drags on, but the host is saving the best for last. Next is a massive skill book bundle with starting bids at 100,000. Most players ignore it, thinking it is just useless trash, but our hero just smiles. The host waits for bids. Out of nowhere, a bid of 300,000 rings out. Wang Yangshu does not hesitate. He has a secret strategy for these unwanted books. Normally, learning skills consumes valuable experience points, and reading too many will actually drop your player level. Now that reality has merged with the game, losing too much level means instant death. Jagsufu is confused, but he explains he is built different. He already has the coordinates to Insect Island loaded in his weapon to easily farm back that experience. His wife is left utterly amazed by his genius mind. At last, the presenter reveals the crown jewel of the night. Some creep in the crowd hopes it is the host herself, earning a look of pure disgust. It is actually the key to the legendary Forgotten Paradise dungeon. The crowd gasps. Wang Yangshu wants it, but he is not the only player aiming for this treasure. This legendary limited-time dungeon is packed with mythical fairies, godly gear, and incredibly overpowered companion characters. Bidding starts at 500,000 but immediately rockets into millions. Some rich blonde guy confidently bids 20 million, silencing the entire room. Just as the host is about to close the deal, the arrogant blonde guy smiles, thinking he won. But his dreams are instantly crushed by a massive 30 million bid. The shocked auctioneer searches for the mysterious high bidder. Up in the VIP booth, Wang Yangshu steps forward with cash to burn. Our hero is completely determined to claim this dungeon key. As the crowd mutters in shock, the angry blonde kid counters with 35 million. But Wang Yangshu drops a cool 45 million, leaving everyone speechless. And trust me, you and I are about to see an epic showdown in the next episode. Alright, you and I are diving right into the moment our hero pulls off the ultimate heist. The auction wraps up, and boom, the legendary Forgotten Paradise teleportation stone is officially in his inventory. His wife is absolutely losing her mind over how fast he blew through his small fortune. But elsewhere, the ruthless Royal Union president enters a dark chamber packed with captive elves. Cracking a whip, he is absolutely furious that he lost the auction's prize. He rages about the low-level kid who outbid him, taking all his anger out on the poor captives. He vows to hunt down our hero and take the stone by force. Placing a hand on a girl's shoulder, a wicked smile spreads across his face as he plots. Back with the squad, the warrior suggests they travel to this unknown paradise together. But Ashobe warns them that the place is guarded by Merlin and Morgan, a total death trap. But Wyangu laughs it off, claiming he has cleared the place multiple times. He then hands Mammon a rare spellbook to unlock her class as a kaleidoscope maiden. She is not thrilled about fighting in a magical girl outfit, wanting a normal class instead. But Wyangu points out her other options are worse, like Tentacle Empress or Evil Photogirl. Furious, Mammon rants about her master, forcing her into such an embarrassing class and storms away. Little does she know, he is just messing with her since she can change it later. As she walks off, Mammon grumbles about how much she despises this city and how these selfish players do not even care that the world is ending. Suddenly, she spots a fellow non-player character being harassed by a bearded bully. Without a second thought, Mammon steps in to put a stop to this injustice. This arrogant level 33 emperor thinks his player's status makes him a god, compared to local non-player characters. But Mammon completely burns him, calling him a nobody before he got his powers. Realizing she is picking a fight, the bully eagerly accepts the challenge. Honestly, though, Mammon just looks bored, like dealing with him is going to be a total waste of time. Now you and I need to watch closely here. The city safe zone prevents any player violence, but the second they step outside those gates, all rules are completely off the table. Mammon realizes this level 33 player is openly threatening her. He smirks, boasting that once they cross that boundary, there are no walls, and only the strongest fists make the rules. Without a single trace of fear, she accepts the duel to beat some sense into him. Her friend suggests calling their master, but Mammon instantly shuts down that idea. Stepping into the arena, a protective barrier seals them inside. The bully trash talks her, laughing that the entire crowd is about to watch her get absolutely humiliated. This is a straight-up one-on-one duel with zero outside help. Up in the stands, onlookers whisper about the upcoming fight while admiring just how beautiful the challenger is. Feeling cocky, the Emperor lets her make the first move. She channels her energy to cast a spell, but the chaotic elemental magic fizzles out, completely out of control. Her spell was so laughably basic it did not even touch him. Now, this level 33 player is ready to show her what a real class can do. He charges forward, wrapped in glowing cosmic energy and laughing because her spell barely tickled. Unleashing his signature fist of the mighty man of Asia attack, he sends her flying across the arena. The blow hits so hard she coughs up blood, crashing onto the dirt. He smirks at her pain, mocking her low level and her pathetic basic spells. Struggling to stand, Mammon remembers how easily her master, Wyangu, defeats opponents way above his level. She realized she needed to activate her advanced class for a stat boost. She remembers that her magical girl class requires a transformation, or she is stuck with basic spells. Quietly, she backs away to gain some distance. Once the bully realizes she has a magical girl class, he bursts out laughing, while the crowd whispers in shock. Her dignity is on the line as the bully mockingly demands to see her transform. Clenching her hand, she summons her maiden kaleidoscope magic. The Emperor laughs at how incredibly cringy her chant is, but suddenly, an explosive surge of energy fills the arena. Chanting her oath to deliver the judgment of love, her outfit begins to transform. Clad in a dark, gothic outfit with a hat and staff, her abilities surge by 300% in this blacked-out mode. With a deadly gaze, she is ready to deliver justice by crushing bones and reaping souls. Meanwhile, Wyangu wanders by, wondering why a crowd is gathered. A friend calls out to him, pointing toward the stadium where the bully, an advanced second-class emperor known for his high-speed player versus player attacks, is fighting. Mammon unleashes her magic, summoning a wild swarm of creatures onto the battlefield. Panicking, her opponent cannot understand what is happening as the ground beneath him splits wide open. Projectiles rain down everywhere, taking over the arena. The player realizes she is 3 times stronger in her dark form, but he still thinks he can take her. He charges in to land a massive punch, but his mind melts when he runs headfirst into a Nitro's magic mirror. Now, you and I both know what happens when you underestimate a magical girl. She traps him completely, using arachnid magical silk thread, wrapping him in a giant web. Immobilized and helpless, he can only watch as Mammon prepares to cast him into the abyss. In an instant, the duel is over, and she takes the victory. She reverts to her normal self, while the crowd erupts into wild cheers after witnessing her fight. Wyangu is impressed she won on her own and apologizes for teasing her, but she admits she does not actually mind fighting as a magical girl anymore. Seeing the defeated bully on the ground, Wyangu starts kicking him for messing with his friend. The coward flees, crying for help, while an annoyed voice announces that the Union has lost to our group once again. The girl who spoke to them calls the loser a total idiot. Wang is confused, failing to recognize this newcomer who is talking so casually to him. He only remembers the pilot Asuka from a game. She tells him there's a delivery waiting for him that could yield some pretty special rewards. Naturally, his eyes light up at the mention of loot. Asuka explains that a dangerous monster is hiding among the villagers outside, and they need a strong player. Wang gets interested, asking about the beast's level and look. Since no one else is brave enough to take this job, they are dumping it all on him. His wife sighs, annoyed by this dangerous request. But our hero believes it is his duty to protect the innocent. He accepts the quest in exchange for details on the weapon that can stop the apocalypse. Asuka promises to forward his requests, but warns him not to get too hopeful. Meanwhile, Sasaki Yaji, wielding the powerful class weapon Murasame, is normally incredibly lazy, but she becomes absolutely terrifying the moment you make her angry. These two talented players refuse to join the corrupt Union. As they face a wave of new enemies, you and I are about to see her unleash some serious blade work. Alright, you and I are jumping right into a crazy battle where she slices those bodies in half like it's nothing. Naturally, the goddess sees her little Taiyanshin growing insanely skilled with the blade, but the girl senses a trap. Those fallen corpses aren't vanishing, and they didn't even get any experience points or rewards for taking them down. Anner looks on in confusion, trying to read her allies' moves. That's when the shocking truth hits her: these are just innocent civilians being puppeted. Out of nowhere, a nasty bug leaps right onto Sasaki Yashi's face while Nari watches in horror. Suddenly, a swarm of spiders starts crawling out of the dead bodies. Outside, sunlight breaks through the clouds as a guard warns the team about how lethal this zone is. Vicious monsters have made dozens of people vanish here, forcing them to seal the whole place off. But our main guy, Wai Yangu, is no ordinary civilian. He is a high-tier player tasked with hunting down these exact beasts. The officer feels suspicious, remembering another flashy player who arrived earlier. Just last night, that girl went straight into the danger zone and never came back. Now, those trapped players are screaming for mercy, wrapped tight in sticky webs. The monster just grins, looking at them like they're perfect hosts for her eggs. Meanwhile, the guards admit they have zero updates on the missing girl. Still, they assume Wang Yangu must be insanely high-leveled if the guild dispatched him here. Even with his nerves acting up, he boasts about his high level, having played since day one of the server launch. In reality, he was just studying skill books earlier, carefully choosing which abilities to unlock with his limited experience points. His goal was to farm experience points fast, ignoring any minor setbacks. Then, a system alert pops up: his bond with Jeksufu hit level 1, unlocking a new combat skill. Grinning, he looks over at his beautiful wife, who has some crazy hidden stats. Jeksufu is literally the strongest Valkyrie alive, commanding absolute mastery over all combat skills. The officer warns him that the nearby refugees are terrified of these beasts. He hands over a radio, telling our hero to call for backup if things get too ugly. But Wai Yang doesn't care at all. Now pay attention, because as they head to the restricted area, Mammon is silently cracking up over his fake high-level lie. Suddenly, a wave of glowing-eyed monsters starts creeping down the dark hallway, wielding weapons and shrieking with ear-splitting screeches. Seeing they are zombies, Mammon immediately starts charging up her magic, but our hero is completely thrown off. Why is there no health bar above their heads? Still, the mindless horde keeps stumbling forward. Wang Yangu activates his data perspective to scan the enemies. Instantly, he spots a massive infestation of parasitic worm eggs inside them. They look like zombies, but they are actually living humans. To save them, he needs to take them down without causing fatal damage. The plan? Use electricity to safely paralyze the infected hosts. On command, Mammon fires off-controlled, low-level spells to avoid killing them. Meanwhile, Wai Yang looks like an absolute beast, crackling with lightning as he preps his brand new skills. With a confident smirk, he activates the Lightning Blade spell. It is a buff that lasts only for the first 15 seconds of combat, but it boosts his attack power immensely. But Tio calls him cold-hearted for wiping out helpless civilians. He just laughs it off, explaining he only fried the parasites, knocking the humans out safely. From the shadows, a hidden creature watches in pure shock as they dismantle her parasite trap. Sensing a strange presence, Wai Yang quickly looks back. He demands the boss show herself, already knowing her true identity. She is the Silk Mistress, a mini-boss from Insect Island who fights using parasitic eggs and deadly silk threads. The level 40 boss feels flattered that a mere human actually remembers her skill set. But while he tries to gather intel, his companion gets totally annoyed. Either way, Our hero is ready to end this monster for puppeting innocent lives. But right then, a sudden, lethal blade strike comes flying straight at him. He barely dodges, realizing this specific move doesn't even belong to the spider boss. Right then, he begins to wonder if there's a second monster lurking nearby. You see those two girls stepping out from behind the silk mistress. It is Sasaki, Yaji, and Anner, moving like total zombies. Those are the missing players. Their minds are completely hijacked, forcing them to obey the beast's every command. Sasaki Yaji begins twitching her body in a deeply unsettling way. Our protagonist is absolutely stunned. It turns out this spider is tired of getting farmed by players and wants payback. Suddenly, a huge blast goes off, tearing the ground apart. But the hero knows that's just a cheap excuse for the monster to slaughter people. Controlled by the threads, the puppeted warrior swings her blade. Watching her advance, Yang-su wonders if he'll have to engage in close combat. Thankfully, his partner is already channeling her energy to set up a solid defense shield. Anner is completely out of it, moving like she's in a deep sleep. Jeksufu can't believe a powerful goddess got brainwashed this easily. Meanwhile, Mammon and Tio prep their ultimate spells. Grinning, the spider boss watches them with amusement. To survive this, Mammon needs to transform immediately. But with a lightning-fast slash, the puppet warrior strikes at our hero. Her weapon is Murasame, an S-class demonic sword that cuts karma. This beast of a blade massively boosts attack power, evasion, and accuracy. She uses the continuous fall technique, a classic hunter move that saves physical stamina. Yang-su realizes that strike almost took his head off, but luckily, he dodged. Gripping her sharp blade, the girl lunges forward. She activates ground retraction, a broken skill that literally bends space-time to close the gap instantly. Our hero is stunned by these high-level moves, but since her attacks are too wild and aggressive, they leave a huge opening. He throws a basic low kick, landing a direct hit. Sasaki Yaji collapses right on top of him, feeling a strange sensation. But her true goal is to force a ground fight and gain any advantage she can. Watching this, his wife is deeply intrigued. To her, these sneaky player tactics are incredibly dirty. Plus, her current power level is completely capped by her contractor's level. Still, even as a minor Eastern deity, she's 20 levels higher than him, making her incredibly dangerous. Mammon curses herself for being so careless and getting caught before she could transform. Both girls are now completely pinned down by sticky spiderwebs. The smug monster is absolutely certain she has won this battle with ease. Worst of all, she plans to force them into highly questionable outfits for her squad. Yang-su rushes in to help, while the puppet warrior swings another heavy blow. This clever spider split them up to take them down one by one. Suddenly, Sasaki Yaji draws her sword to unleash her ultimate strike, the Slaughter God's Frozen Slash. Our guy plays dumb for a second, acting terrified, but he is already preparing to counter. Gripping the massive Gold Slayer blade, he initiates a flawless defensive stance. Having played in the pro leagues, he knows all their tricks. And trust me, you and I are about to watch him unleash a force that will completely blow her mind. Alright, you and I are jumping into the moment this spider boss realizes she is totally outmatched. Our hero refuses to even fight her, and her energy bar is hitting 0. Now, she desperately needs a quick kill to survive. Meanwhile, Mammon begins her epic transformation. Sweat drips down the beast's face as she finally realizes the danger surrounding her. The Kaleidoscope Maiden unleashes a dark beam of love and justice. Her spells blast straight toward the helpless spider lady. Furious, she demands the monster accept this righteous punishment for her crimes. But honestly, Mammon looks totally embarrassed, shouting those cringe lines as a magical warrior. Suddenly, the enemy completely vanishes without a single trace. Annoyed, the sorceress realizes she missed her chance at the reward. The spider beast must have retreated back to the safety of her dungeon. Slipping through the portal, the spider crawls back to her lair. Angry at her own weakness, she decides she must hunt down more humans to regain her power and crush that boy. But Yang-su is already standing behind her like a literal shadow. Smiling, the main character says he only came to Insect Island to deliver a surprise. Terrified, she backs away, shocked that he easily broke into her dungeon. You see, Yang-su has a key that links directly to this island. Desperate, the spider tries using her ultimate charms to seduce him, begging for her life and offering to become his loyal ally. Her plan was simple: make him drop his guard and strike. Too bad, our hero does not buy her fake act for a single second. With one decisive slice, he ends the Spider Queen, coldly telling her he already has a beautiful wife. This easy victory lands Yang-su some epic loot spider silk and a rare spider ring. Meanwhile, in another chamber, the girl finally opens her eyes. Both she and her companion wake up completely dazed, their minds a total blank about what just happened. The maiden explains that a monster brainwashed them into helpless puppets. But fortunately, the danger has passed, and they are finally safe and sound. Sasaki Yaji is shocked that a low-level girl could take down such a high-tier beast. Just then, Wang Yangsu steps through the portal and confirms he was the one who dealt the final blow. Still, the warrior is confused since his displayed level is so low. Wang gently touches her arm, telling her to relax so they can escape, but Sasaki Yaji begs her friend to wait. Now pay attention to this part. The goddess Inari has a terrible feeling about this kid, comparing him to a legendary gamer. Suddenly, the truth hits her, linking him directly to the feared demon king of the sixth heaven. Suddenly, Sasaki Yaji feels an intense heat rushing through her body. Right next to her, Inari gasps as her stomach starts to burn violently. Both girls collapse, their vision fading. Wang Yangsu realizes that although the spider is dead, her nasty parasites are still alive inside them. To save their lives, he needs to perform an immediate surgical extraction. But the blushing girls definitely do not want him getting that close. Smiling, he tells them not to doubt his expert medical skills or his incredibly fast hands. Painful screams echo as he thoroughly searches their bodies for the hidden pests. Finally, holding the wriggling parasite, our protagonist proudly announces that the operation was a total success. Sasaki and Inari lie there, totally exhausted and red-faced from the intense examination. Meanwhile, Wang Yangsu holds up the creepy parasite, analyzing its strange behavior. For completing this intimate extraction, he gains massive rewards and the legendary title, Demon King of the Sixth Heaven. Overwhelmed by sheer humiliation, the warrior draws her blade, ready to end her own life. Amused, our main character warns her that even if she dies, he will just claim her soul as his partner. The other girls watch this crazy argument unfold, trying their best to calm down the situation. Later, Asuka reports they defeated a level 40 monster outside the safe zone using raw strategy. But the moment Seiyan hears that Wang Yangsu was the one who actually killed it, she spits out her drink. Sasaki was supposed to handle the Spider Queen, but the poor girl is currently looking extremely traumatized. Our confident hero is ready to claim his massive quest rewards. Suddenly, Sham mockingly offers to let him lick her feet, but his powerful wife is already sick and tired of random people trying to mess with her contractor. She reveals that the vice president of the Royal Union wields a legendary weapon, the Thunder Apple of Darkness, which evolved from a key. But the vice president, Liang Yan, still holds a grudge over him stealing the Forgotten Paradise key at the auction. Hearing this, Wang Yangsu offers to sell it to him for 20 million. You and I both know that is a steal, right? Even the buyer is confused why our protagonist sold it so cheap. Outside, the bright afternoon sun begins to fade into a cloudy blue sky. Wang Yangsu easily sold the key because he already used his god-tier skill to save the coordinate. Even if the teleportation lock triggers due to the distance, he is already set. Ultimately, selling the stone does not block him from returning to the Forgotten Land whenever he wants. His wife just shakes her head, totally baffled by his wild schemes. But our main character has zero fear, fully knowing he is the strongest player alive. Meanwhile, Liang Yan smiles, discussing Wang Yangsu, who has surprisingly requested a personal meeting. He grabs one of his girls, highly suspicious of the young man's true motives. Seeing his doubt, she offers her assistance. Curious, he asks if she has any dirt on Wang Yangsu. For a high fee, the vice president can uncover secrets about him and his Valkyrie partner. Meanwhile, Jiashufu and Wang Yangsu walk down a sketchy alley lit by neon, cyberpunk lights. Our main character tells his wife to stay on high alert for danger. As the door swings open, they brace for a fight, only to be greeted by a crowd of gorgeous women. Though a bit confused, he is definitely not complaining about the warm welcome. Still, he insists he is only there to talk business with Liang Yan. A girl grabs his arm, sensing his exhaustion. Determined to make him comfortable, the hostesses take the initiative. Wang Yangsu happily kicks back on the sofa as a gorgeous blonde girl climbs right onto his lap. Annoyed, his wife demands to know why so many non-player characters are packed into this shady spot. The vice president explains this is the Forbidden Paradise, a bar for captured monsters and low tiers. Hearing his voice, Jia Shufu glares directly into the shadows. The man steps out, explaining he picked this lively spot just so they could have a relaxed, casual conversation. Still, he never expected the contractor to be such a popular guy. His wife does not buy his friendly act, her suspicion growing by the second. His smug look shifts when he realizes she knows his true identity. But he calmly claims to already know everything about her and her partner. He knows their goal. Touching her shoulder, he claims he also has the key to saving the universe. Keeping things smooth, he asks if she would consider ditching her partner for him. Liang Yan begs her to sign a contract with him, promising they can save both worlds together. But Jia Shifu is totally unimpressed and cold, stepping away from him without hesitation. She demands to know who he even thinks he is to offer her a contract. The vice president replies that he knows her partner was once the literal master of the entire game world. He adds that collecting keys and saving reality is way faster as a team than playing solo. Deep down, the Valkyrie admits his logic actually makes a tiny bit of sense. Her contractor is incredibly powerful and does not even need her. But she is still torn, remembering their battles, breaking spells as a couple, and the crazy auctions. Trust me, you and I are going to want to see who she chooses. All right, let us look back at her special memories with her contractor. With pure determination, she rejects the offer, choosing to fight beside Wang Yang-su over saving the world with leading Yen. Turning her back, she proudly declares her absolute faith in the unbreakable bond between two contracted souls. Furious, the vice president realizes he wasted a fortune on useless info from that fox, especially since they cannot even attack players in the city. He tightly grips his weapon. But leading Yen has a trump card. His main weapon completely ignores those restrictions. Before he can strike Jig Sufu, our main character blocks the hit. Suddenly, Wang Yang-su appears holding a cup. He splashes all the water right onto leading Geffen, acting like it was just a clumsy accident. He even offers a totally fake apology. By messing with the data, he forces a sudden pause. Behind him, all the non-playable characters collapse into a deep sleep. He waves his hands, instantly swapping his casual gear for battle armor and his mighty sword. He playfully mocks his opponent, claiming that cheap electric staff is nothing compared to his own blade. Hearing this, leading Yemen gets absolutely furious. Now watch closely as the three square off. With two main weapons detected in the same spot, they just unlocked a massive dungeon. The Golden City Reversal Casino is opening soon, promising an insane reward for the first player to clear it. Notifications confirm the dungeon will appear within 10 kilometers, with absolutely no time limit. But our hero already slipped away and is trying to smash a door open with raw strength, even as leading FN seals the entire bar to trap them. In the end, that door is just breakable data. Charging through like a football player, he completely shatters it. After stepping past the ruins, Jake Sufu mentions the vice president made some incredibly stupid proposals to her. Baffled and annoyed, Giffen loses his mind, realizing this player easily destroyed a door made of ultra-rare materials. Ultimately, he lets the duo escape, confident he will run into them inside the dungeon anyway. Meanwhile, across the city, other players are buzzing with excitement about the newly appeared Golden City Reversal Casino. But another arrogant guild starts shouting threats, bragging that no one can beat them. Watching from afar, two girls judge them hard, while back at the inn, things are much quieter. Wang Yang-su wants to rush this dungeon to claim that sweet first clear reward. His secret weapon? A newly acquired portable room, fully furnished and stocked with food for 10 people. With a bright grin, he asks who wants to show off their cooking skills and whip up a quick meal. But the non-playable characters just sit there, completely frozen. It turns out none of them actually know how to cook, which quickly sparks a hilarious debate. Ultimately, Senfang gets stuck with kitchen duty for all 5 of them, since she already handles the food for the shop. Meanwhile, a mysterious figure lounging in his chair watches closely. This sudden dungeon opening was totally unexpected, making the game so much more fun. Lord B commands Ruby and Jane to assist the dungeon boss at the Golden City Reversal Casino, but these proud Valkyries are not about to take orders from some lowly boss. Standing nearby, Aster gets super annoyed that they are disobeying the master. But Lord Bea explains that, in terms of raw combat power, this is actually the weakest boss. But inside his casino, even the top-ranking players will face total defeat. Since Qianfang is not built for combat, she will handle the meals while the others fight. With their plans set, it is time to tackle the Golden City Reversal Casino. A massive crowd of eager players has already gathered at the main gates, desperate to get in. An official demands silence, warning the crowd not to get too close. Right now, the guards have no choice but to trust these players to save their world, however impossible it seems. Meanwhile, a team of girls feels totally confident about clearing this. But then, one of them spots the very guy who stole all their rewards. Grinning, Wang Yangu waves to the crowd like a friendly neighbor. He turns to Manmin and casually asks her to go in first, claiming he needs to farm some experience points first. You see, in Million Game Girls, you can farm experience just by clearing dungeons. Manmin is not buying his plan, but let us see if he can persuade her. Screaming, the non-playable character snaps that she does not care about his stupid games. Meanwhile, monsters swarm the forest. With a single slash, Wang Yangu drops his 18th target, complaining about this ridiculous world fusion. Jigsafu cannot understand why he ditched Mammon, since her high-damage spells are way faster for farming experience points. Our hero knows she is strong, but she lacks real player versus player experience. Suddenly, a sneak attack flies at them from behind. But Wai Yangu dodges effortlessly that basic stuff will never hit him. Sprawled on the dirt, the attacker cannot believe his strike was detected so easily. His squad quickly steps up, pointing their weapons right at our hero. They want to rob the ultimate kill stealer, demanding all his golden items. When our hero refuses to hand over his loot, the leader activates his magic bullet shooter skill. But something feels off. Wang Yangsu actually came loaded with basic defensive skills, specifically to avoid getting instantly deleted. Thanks to his beginner-level reinforced bones and tendons, he can easily pierce right through a solid chest. Chuckling, our hero says he did his homework, but chalks it up to pure luck. Meanwhile, that enemy squad is rocking gear with heavy karma attributes. As the bandits close in, he hilariously calls out to his wife for backup. Activating her defensive magic, Jack Sufu summons the ultimate unlimited sword. She launches a volley of blades at her targets, but they do absolutely zero damage, not even a single scratch. The thugs laugh, mocking her attacks as all bark and no actual bite. But once he hits level 30, Wang Yangu decides it is time for his second-class change. The enemy players are utterly baffled, wondering how he reached such a high level so fast. Looking back, he points out those strikes were actually targeting nearby monsters. Now, our main character is ready to choose his next path. Opening the system interface, he starts browsing his options. By bending destiny itself, a player can reshape the paths of the cosmos, the legendary class that turns this myth into reality, the Shepherd of the Stars. Right then, Wang Yangsu realizes the Shepherd of the Stars is officially his new favorite class. Back in the day, he used to mess with the system while standing over defeated monsters. Out of everyone, only a few hundred players had picked that mysterious cardamom class with absolutely no idea where it would lead. That happened just 1 month after Million Games launched in Kishu, when a level 36 was a Shepherd of the Stars. The description talked endlessly about fate, but completely forgot to mention if it was a melee or ranged class. Kishu admits he had no idea how to play it, getting himself kicked from multiple parties. Even so, he did not regret his choice at all, finding the whole thing strangely romantic. Hearing this, our protagonist is completely baffled by his logic. But Kishu explains that using the tiny power of an ordinary person to change the path of massive stars is the ultimate romance. Deep down, he loved the flashy magic of this class, and as he prepares to guide the stars with his fingertips like a solar flame, you and I are definitely in for one epic ride. Alright, you and I are about to witness an absolute masterclass in trolling. Starlight gathers as this guy prepares to crush the cosmos, leaving the other players completely clueless except for one veteran who realizes this insane spell needs to be cancelled right now. Wai Yangu just laughs, declaring it's too late as they are about to witness the spectacular shattering of the stars. Energy explodes around his body as he unleashes the stellar destruction. Honestly, being a star shepherd is incredibly tough, demanding the perfect astrological alignment and positioning. But with insane luck on his side, he masterfully pulls it off. As the terrified players tremble in absolute shock, he drops the ultimate plot twist: this is a robbery. Hand over all gold, gear, and potions right now. One guy pretends to comply but secretly reaches for a hidden weapon. Even as a seasoned veteran, he knew there was no way he could block an attack of that caliber head-on. He pulls the trigger, unleashing a legendary quadruple magic bullet. With wide, glowing eyes, he realized that a broken skill like this should not even exist in the game. But here's the thing: anyone from a specialized magic shooter class can pull this off. Wang Yangu actually had a buddy back in the day who could fire 9 consecutive shots. After deflecting the attack, the veteran charges in, pressing a heavy blade right against the opponent's face. In a desperate bid, he decides to detonate a grenade to take them both down. Smiling like a madman, he is fully prepared to sacrifice his life. But boom, the enemy player, 10 levels higher, is instantly taken down, netting our hero 12,000 experience points. Jag Sufu notes that the master still lacks raw killing intent. Glaring down at the crowd, she wonders if they will be foolish enough to resist, but they seem totally ready to obey her every command. Wang Yangu is absolutely ecstatic after scoring 20 million gold and a ton of rare loot, but the celebration is cut short as Jag Sufu suddenly stumbles, feeling horribly sick. Something strange was shifting deep inside her. As her contractor leveled up, ancient memories about saving the entire world began rushing back. Right then, a mysterious empty cube within her mind orders her to find the keys to unlock it. If they want to save humanity, they must hunt down every single key before the day ends. Now pay attention here because this is where the real stakes are set. She knows they will have to hunt down other players' keys if they refuse to cooperate. But our main guy is not stressed at all, since he is the strongest and has his wife by his side. Meanwhile, a massive crowd starts gathering outside the tower. Mammon is pacing around, deeply worried about Wang Yangu being so late. She refused to be treated like a mere sidekick who could not handle her own battles. Watching from afar, an enemy player is shocked by her sheer audacity to claim rewards, despite being low level. Approaching her, he demands to know if Wang Yangu survived the total destruction of City G. Mammon just sighs, completely weirded out by this guy's bizarre obsession with her contractor. Before he can lash out at her teasing, his loyal assistant tries to calm him down. After all, breaking their contract to act like a reckless idiot is not an option. In a pathetic twist, he drops to his knees and begs Xiaoyu not to leave, swearing he will beat Wang Yangsu this time. She just slaps him away, telling him to stop being so annoying. Realizing he is totally helpless against her, things get even worse. Xiaoyu demands a ruthless contract where every single bit of his gold and experience goes directly to her, giving her total control. Terrified, the guy quickly backs off and agrees to let them go. Meanwhile, Wan Yangshu and Jig Sufu elegantly walk by, planning their next moves. The annoying rival tries to pick a fight, but our hero completely ignores him to focus on the dungeon. As a massive portal materializes, they step through and instantly load into the spectacular Golden City Reversal Casino. But the place looks completely different from what they expected. Suddenly, a strange voice calls out to our hero, leaving him totally baffled as to why anyone here would know his name. It turns out the local guides, Ruby and Jaime, are totally ready to fight him for revenge. Our hero is completely bewildered seeing these powerful Valkyries dressed up as bunny girls. But do not get it twisted. It is not for him, it is just their creepy boss's weird personal taste. Suddenly, the main boss himself pops up to welcome them to the Golden City. To challenge him, they must first beat several stages. The first round, Happy Resort, requires them to gather 3 holiday victory medals. The rules are simple: win a consensual duel, and you steal a victory medal from your opponent. With a smirk, the boss says he will be waiting deep inside the casino before the screen fades. Sweating bullets, Wang Yangsu realizes they just met the ultimate boss of this zone. I know what you're thinking, how does a casino turn into a battlefield? Well, the girl is already begging to fight our hero, leaving Mammon totally confused and deciding it's best to just watch. Ariel slams down a decisive checkmate, securing an epic victory. The legendary chess master, sighing in defeat, realizes he must surrender his medal, grumbling about how she shattered his 19-game winning streak. Now everyone can keep challenging others for medals. But let's be real, the players immediately state that nobody in their right mind would ever dare to challenge that overpowered opponent. The victor gloats that nobody could survive a literal god-killing blow. Having lost the gamble, the defeated player's medal count instantly drops into the negatives. Glowing energy wraps around his body as he is banished from the game. Seeing this, Mammon finally understands the high stakes, just as the Valkyrie steps up and demands a duel. Full of fiery determination, she demands to take the stage next. Sasaki Yaji points her sword straight at our hero, swearing she has not forgotten the absolute humiliation he put her through. He instantly panics, realizing she is the lethal samurai previously captured by Lady Spider M. She smiles, asking for a fair, honorable duel. But before they can even start, another player boldly steps right in front of her to interrupt. This guy insists he is the rightful opponent, claiming a bitter rivalry from their last game. Annoyed, Sasaki Yaji decides this loudmouth needs a swift lesson from her legendary sword style. The two stand face to face, trading heavy insults in a heated shouting match. He snarls back, telling her she is about to taste the deadly power of his Purple Thunder 7 daggers. Meanwhile, Wang Yangsu watches the chaotic drama unfold, deeply confused. Nearby, Anna shivers, sensing a terrifying dark aura radiating from the opponent. It feels like she is hosting an incredibly powerful ancient fox deity. Just then, our hero reminds them all that he has a huge line of challengers waiting, prompting them to discuss leaving this trash for Lord Baya instead. Out of nowhere, she offers a bizarre deal letting Wang Yangsu pick the game. And believe it or not, they end up playing a casual board game right on the Valkyrie's back. Seeing this ridiculous setup, Jag Sufu facepalms, totally annoyed. Meanwhile, his only focus is to win this match by any means necessary. Gripping his game piece, he dramatically claims he will invoke the cosmos to shatter her celestial demon form. With supreme confidence, he makes a brilliant tactical move and waits. The bunny girl winces in pain, complaining that her back is completely bruised. Staring at the board, Ruby is utterly clueless about how to save her losing game. But she has a secret trump card. Blushing furiously, she activates her killer move Doppelganger, sending her clone close to our hero. She whispers for him to let down his guard. She is completely mortified by this cheap trick. If he loses focus, it is game over. Trust me, you and I are going to want to see what happens next. All right, you and I are jumping right into a wild punishment zone. A penalty notification flashes, and a dark portal literally opens to swallow this player whole. With her opponent swallowed up, the winner claims a holiday victory medal. Meanwhile, Jane sighs at how her absolute idiot of a colleague completely wasted her chances. Fuming with rage, the loser vows that Wan Yang-su will pay next time, but nobody cares about the threat when he is busy leveling up. A huge crowd gathers to watch the massive spectacle. Right in the middle of it, a female fighter proudly boasts about her win, inviting everyone to party with her. But suddenly, a holiday victory medal vanishes, leaving Ozarin with just one. Over on the side, Jetic Sufu wonders why on earth this challenge requires swimsuits. Feeling insulted, she demands to know if they are looking down on her sumo skills, instantly accepting any challenge. His wife eagerly steps up for a sumo clash, declaring they will follow standard tournament rules. The moment she agrees, the powerful Valkyrie finds her armor transforming into highly embarrassing sumo gear. Turns out, these are special battle outfits designed just for them. First up is the Shiko Stomp ritual. But instead of trying the stance, the blushing warrior quickly covers Wang Yangu's eyes to block his view. With no starting buzzer in sumo, the girl charges like a freight train. It is a classic winning move, but Jetic Sufu realizes her reckless attack leaves her wide open. Still, she maintains her focus, regulating her breathing to strike back. Her rival flies in, yelling that this is a strict match, not some sloppy street fight. In this duel, players can only use their hands to push. No punches, no kicks. Yet, the girl keeps smiling, totally loving every second of it. Flash. She teleports right behind the Valkyrie, finding the perfect opening. Rules say grabbing the belt is banned, but swimsuits apparently make it fair game. She freezes as her outfit is pulled, leaving her entirely at her rival's mercy. Red with anger, she screams, demanding to know what rules they are breaking. Now pay close attention here. This goddess of sumo, Nomi, is no joke, and Wang Yangu knows his wife is in deep trouble. If they follow the rules, she is basically disqualified. Realizing this, our hero shouts that the rules are a scam and she should just go freestyle. Hearing this, his wife instantly delivers a brutal, bone-shattering headbutt. Namino wipes blood from her nose, shocked that she actually fell for that trick. But the Valkyrie had every reason to trust her partner's battle advice. Her opponent mocks her, claiming she only won through cheap tactics. Annoyed, his wife declares she's done holding back and ready to take on anything. Later on, players ask Nami no Sukun how it felt to face that power. She describes a freezing sensation of pure regret before she completely blacked out on the spot. She says it felt like heaven and earth literally flipped upside down. The match officially ends with a knockout, securing them another victory medal. With a smug grin, Jetic Sufu admits her opponent was surprisingly decent at close-quarters combat, leaving Namino Sukum utterly defeated on the floor. Her teammates are baffled by these strange skills, but she is absolutely beaming with joy after taking down such a legendary powerhouse. Suddenly, she blushes, realizing she is still wearing the embarrassing outfit. They have 2 medals now, but the game boss appears to remind everyone that time is running out. Currently, 72 players have 3 medals, and once that number hits 100, they advance. The rest need to hustle hard or face instant elimination from the game. They need to move faster. Mammon has to secure her own medals, but she knows her easiest option is to grab one for her contractor first. Through it all, Wang Yang-su wants her to give it her all, but Kachiab knows that Mammon's heart isn't fully in it. She stays quiet for a long moment, feeling like talking is pointless if nobody understands her. In silence, Mammon reflects on everything but keeps her mouth shut. The two begin hunting for another NPC to challenge. Master Maffei challenges them to a yo-yo battle, but our hero has zero interest in fighting teenagers. Durian wants a showdown over who can make the best preserved tofu and herring. Then a gorgeous NPC offers a 10-minute survival challenge, but Wang Yang-su already has a wife. I know what you were thinking, these game characters are completely out of their minds. But look at this player already grabbing their 3rd medal to advance. He mocks a samurai girl, telling her to hurry up since she only has 1 medal. But a true samurai finishes fights fast, quickly earning 2 more medals. Watching from afar, Wang Gangsu realizes she prefers targeting other players for easy wins. Hunting for her final medal, the girl asks if anyone wants to duel. Copying the strategy, our hero steps up, offering a friendly duel. But she instantly recognizes his face as the beast who defeated someone 10 levels higher. Without wasting a single second, she spins around and runs away. That's when Jetic Sufu realizes someone has been painting giant targets on their backs. Turns out, Xiaoyu had been selling information about dangerous players, warning everyone about Wang Yangsu. Down at the docks, our hero tries to relax and plan. His biggest issue is finding someone to challenge before all the slots fill up. Just then, a nearby fisherman tells him that the secret to fishing is patience. This is Za, the legendary fishing master, and he is ready to duel. Looking at the NPC's gear, Wang Yangsu realizes this is Zhang Xia. He helps our hero prep his rod and gear. But first, they need to hunt down some bait. With his inventory, that is easy, but he has no idea how to win a fishing duel. Za explains that a legendary fish swims in these waters, and whoever hooks it first wins. Despite the vague rules, Wang Yangsu accepts the challenge. Back when he first started, he was the very first player to unlock the God of Fishing title. Confident, he casts his line and instantly feels a massive pull. Putting his back into it, he yanks the rod. He catches a wisdom fish, which permanently boosts his intelligence by 15 whole points. Za is blown away by his luck in catching rare fish. Realizing it is not the target fish, they cast again. Soon he hooks a snapper, a swordfish, and even a dead Martian alien. Jetic Sufu gets suspicious, wondering if the old man is scamming her contractor. Just then, the boss appears again, shouting at everyone to hurry up and get their medals. Wang Yangsu is visibly stressed out, feeling completely lost. Suddenly, his wife strips off her heavy gear and tells her contractor to look at her. She just wanted to help him relax, reminding him they still have time. He definitely did not expect this bold move, but it honestly cheers him up. With a calm mind, he realized those rare items were never the key. And that is where we leave it. Trust me, this adventure is only getting wilder. Alright, you and I are about to watch the craziest fishing trip ever. He pulls up his rod, but it's just a totally basic soup fish. But Master Zia drops some big news. His opponent just cleared a massive long-term mission. With 3 medals in hand, he's ready to advance to the next stage. Still, our hero is totally obsessed with this incredibly ordinary-looking fish. Curiosity gets the better of him, so he slices the fish open. Suddenly, boom. Blinding light and insane energy erupt everywhere. Wang Yangsu just scored an ultra-rare item, the miraculous key. Just like that, a legendary item drops right into his inventory. He didn't even have to clear a dungeon to get this key. Jag Sufu is completely baffled trying to figure out why a basic fish had such a broken item inside. She looks at the old master, demanding to know his real identity and what he's hiding. But he just laughs it off, claiming he's just an ordinary fisherman before happily walking away. The two of them watch him leave in absolute silence, but she's definitely not buying this NPC's innocent act. He is clearly harboring some massive secret. Meanwhile, the player count for the next phase climbs all the way to 96, while Mammon sits quietly in a corner, having zero interest in advancing. Exit Bay knows that if her friend keeps spiraling into negativity, she will cross a point of no return. The girl looks totally depressed, even muttering that the evil path doesn't sound so bad. She huddles alone, looking completely defeated. But then, a level 22 player named Luca pops up out of nowhere, telling Mammon to hold her head high and take pride in being a magical girl. Confused, Mammon has no clue who this kid is or how someone so young is even playing. Luluca proudly introduces herself as the magical girl of love and hope. But Mammon just wants to be left alone in her misery. The young player warns her that if she keeps sulking like a loser, her days as a magical girl are officially over. That gets Mammon's attention. She hates fighting kids, but she never backs down from a challenge. Just like that, both of them initiate their spectacular transformation sequences. Now watch this part closely. The Kaleidoscope Maiden prepares for war, while Lulua summons a massive flaming spear of courage. Before long, a crowd gathers to watch this bizarre magical girl duel. Usually, they are cute kids, but players immediately notice one of them is way too old. Mammon asks if they are going to throw down right here. But Luluca explains that magical girls do not fight each other. They prove their strength by obliterating evil monsters instead. Suddenly, creepy monsters spawn, catching Mammon off guard. Without missing a beat, Luluca unleashes her Spear of Courage, instantly wiping them out and scoring 120 magic points. Showcasing flashy combat skills is the ultimate way for a magical girl to boost her mana. Mammon instantly gets the rules. And now, she is highly motivated to level up. The contest is on, and the Kaleidoscope Maiden summons ghastly ghouls to fight. Meanwhile, her allies are having the absolute time of their lives. A massive explosion rocks the area, sending debris flying everywhere. Lulua is already racking up a huge high score. Smiling bright, she warns the bad guys to behave or prepare for some serious punishment. Up in the stands, the crowd is absolutely loving this show. Mammon commands her ghoul to tear the enemy apart with a vicious bite. But the spectators are totally grossed out. They did not sign up for a brutal horror movie. Baluka warns her big sister that she will lose because her spells lack love and hope. Behind her calm face, Mammon is getting super annoyed by this childish nonsense. But once the trash mobs are cleared, a creepy new boss appears, a living, malicious painting. The painted lady groans, wondering why she was even woken up. Luca is thrilled to face this evil old witch, promising to purify her into a sparkling form. Obviously, the boss is not amused by this kid's trash talk. Before the young magical girl can even move, a dark, sinister force wraps around her. Thanks to her insane level advantage, the boss easily captures her. I know what you are thinking, this got weird fast. Completely bound and unable to move at level 50, Mammon questions her life choices as the evil lady starts hitting them. Meanwhile, the spectators in the audience are actually eating this up and enjoying the show. Mammon knows defeating Kulu is impossible, but she can still force a match forfeit. Meanwhile, Luluka's armor is tearing away. Smirking, Kulu demands they surrender right now before the torture gets even more brutal. Mammon secretly cooks up a plan to rescue the kid. Deep down, she knows the little girl is silently begging for help. But Luca refuses to break under this witch's grip. Up in the stands, the crowd watches their every move, completely mesmerized. She cannot give up to evil, especially since she hasn't made her big sister smile yet. Annoyed, Quilu threatens to shave her head, or worse, let some lucky members of the audience have their way with Lulua. Hearing those terrible threats, the poor girl bursts into tears, but Quilu knows her partner is not giving up yet. Mammon thinks surrendering is the quickest way to end this nightmare. With a smug grin, the villain offers to let Mammon go free if she lets her torture Luluka. Right then, everything clicks for the Kaleidoscope Maiden. Quilu is the true evil that must be stopped, and they are magical girls destined to fight for justice. She starts aggressively mocking the old witch, telling her that her rear end looks like a chessboard. The villain is shocked. Mammon dares talk trash without Master Wang Yangu around. Having baited her, Mammon successfully breaks free from the binding claws. System notifications confirm she is not breaking any rules, allowing her to unleash a surprise magic book attack. Thanking Siabe, Mammon wastes zero time and fires her devastating corrosive beam magic. Dodging effortlessly, Emerald calls her an idiot, mocking her terrible aim. But the girl reveals she was actually aiming at the trap holding Sayama. Relieved, the little girl thanks her savior, who coolly replies that she's just doing her job. Getting back on her feet, the blonde declares they are a trio now, suggesting they call themselves the Magical Girl Squad. Interrupting, the fallen Valkyrie laughs, saying a trio of weaklings still can't beat her. Mammon smirks, pulling out her trump card key, explaining why she warned Juan earlier. This is the key of wisdom, transforming into the legendary divine bow Gandiva, once wielded by the great hero Arjuna. Shocked, Emerald wonders how another cheat key could possibly exist. The young witch looks totally confused as she reads the weapon's description, which says it can gather everyone's thoughts. Siabe steps forward, knowing exactly what to do, and starts asking everyone watching the fight to cheer for them. Instantly, the crowd goes completely wild. Suddenly, Mammon feels an insane surge of power as the legendary bow starts glowing brightly. Panicking, the blue-haired villain screams at the crowd, demanding to know why they aren't cheering for her. A guy in the crowd yells back that it's because two of these girls are way cooler, making her furious. Ashabi runs over to Mammon, offering to transfer all her mana. Aruka channels her mana too, begging Mammon to take her power. Armed with the bow, Mammon smiles and trusts me. You're going to want to see what happens next. You and I are jumping right into the action as Emerald attacks, yelling that interrupting her foe is the key to victory. But her strike only shatters a mirror instead of hitting the young girl. The clever young witch explains she set up the mirror spell while Emerald was distracted. Slipping behind her opponent, the red-haired girl unleashes her weapon's ultimate skill, infinite immeasurable light. Spinning around, the shocked woman can't believe she's losing to a bunch of magical girls. An explosive blast erupts, but Mammon quickly senses that their opponent is somehow still breathing. Everyone gasps to see Emerald flat on the ground, barely conscious but alive. Ruka calmly explains that the young witch won because true magical girls never take the lives of their enemies. The young witch sighs, realizing she only walked away with one single badge, which is useless. Still, she genuinely thanks Emerald for helping her discover what it truly means to be a magical girl. In a surprising twist, the sweet little girl gifts the woman 2 of her 5 badges. She had actually swindled these from the guys in the crowd using her charms during the fight. Out of nowhere, Duel pops up to announce that 100 players have been eliminated, and the next round is officially starting. The losers groan, realizing they wasted precious time spectating the fight instead of hunting for badges. Smiling, Mammon tells Ruka she'll see her in the next phase, and they bid each other farewell. Cut to the second round's location where the surviving players are currently gathering. Wang chats with his companion about how most of these contenders are complete nobodies, wishing that Mammon had made the cut. Suddenly, he spots the sweet young girl standing right next to Xiaoman. She waves happily, admitting that with a bit of luck, she managed to qualify at the absolute last second. The host appears once more, congratulating the qualifiers and dropping a massive bombshell. Their next trial will be the terrifying Minotaur's Labyrinth. Now pay attention to this part because the rules are wild. Duo explains that slaying random monsters and finding chests will earn them points, and only 4 players will advance to face him in the final casino stage. Hearing this, the nervous players whisper among themselves that the upcoming battle is going to be incredibly brutal with so few spots. The girl speaks up, asking what happens to those who fail to score enough points. Duo replies they will be instantly banished. She then asks if player versus player combat is allowed, and if killing rivals earns them extra points. Duo clarifies that eliminating rivals won't grant any points, though isn't forbidden. Nearby, another player nervously asks why this sweet girl is asking such a dark question. She cryptically replies that everyone was probably wondering the same thing. Suddenly, an arrogant guy with an eye patch approaches our main character, sneering that he actually survived. He demands to know how he pulled it off when so many elite guild members failed. Wang jokingly shrugs, suggesting maybe they all just had a stomachache. Furious, the guy vows that his very first move inside the maze will be to crush Wang and steal his epic weapon and companion. Completely unfazed, our hero tells him if he's only here to bark, they should just start already. Meanwhile, in another location, bewildered soldiers interrogate a bunch of crying, completely stripped-down young men about what on earth happened to them. The boys sob that they belong to the elite Imperial Glory Guild, but Wang robbed them of absolutely everything, including their clothes. Back at the arena, Wang warns Mammon that the eye-patch punk is going to be trouble. He tells her to stay sharp if she runs into him, since he wields a dangerous weapon. The young witch giggles and tells him not to worry, since she now has her own legendary magical gear. Suddenly, a blinding flash erupts as Duo announces the teleportation sequence is beginning. The players step through the portal one by one, while the host tells them to have some fun. Landing in pitch darkness, Wang looks around for Jek Sufu, only to realize she's vanished. Duo's voice echoes over the intercom, gleefully explaining that to keep things spicy, everyone was scattered at absolute random. Annoyed, our main character grumbles that separating players from their trusted partners is seriously crossing the line. Alright, let's check in on his partner, who isn't worried at all because their mental bond is solid. Meanwhile, Mammon shivers in a freezing sector, wondering just how massive this maze is. Wandering the halls, Chio grumbles about being separated from her master. Suddenly, a figure looms out of the shadows, whispering they've met again, startling her completely. Catching her breath, the girl notes she doesn't even know her name yet and asks if they are the same age. Chio smugly introduces herself, bragging she's lived for 1,000 years and demands respect. Starry-eyed, Ruka asks if that makes her a magical girl grandma, making Chio instantly regret opening her mouth. Walking away, she reminds the kid that they are rivals, and she won't be helping her. As the little girl chases after her, Wang is wandering another path, wondering why he hasn't run into any monsters or loot chests yet. Suddenly, he realizes he spoke way too soon. A massive stone hand bursts from the ground, and a giant rock monster with glowing red eyes appears, letting out a deafening roar. Grinning, our boy decides this beast is the perfect warm-up. Grabbing his sword, he activates his legendary 12 Zodiac Arts technique, specifically the crushing skill, Lion's Roar. He strikes without mercy, shattering the stone monster into a million flying shards. Slaying this elite mob nets him 50 points and a temporary defensive shield boost. Moving on, our hero hopes his next encounter is a beautiful girl instead of ugly rocks. Right on cue, Sasaki materializes from the wind, claiming she's been tracking him down this whole time. Wang smirks, saying he was looking for cute girls, but definitely not one he can't stand. He then declares that since they've crossed paths, they can finally settle their score. But she didn't come alone, and the smug guy standing beside her steps forward, demanding a duel with our protagonist as well. Quietly, our boy realizes he needs to focus on gathering points, and it would only take a little bait to pit these two against each other. Boldly, he tells them he'll easily crush both at once. Enraged, the duo demands to know how he dares underestimate them. In response, Wang activates his Gemini constellation ability, creating a perfect clone of himself for 10 minutes. Stunned, Sasaki demands to know how he can split into 2 people, calling the trick incredibly cheap since it's nearly impossible to block in close combat. Her partner sneers, warning her not to fall for the illusion since the boy's combat stats drop by 50% when split. He boasts that against high health and high defense tanks, this trick is a guaranteed loss. Our hero just smiles, stating that 50% is more than enough to put him down. Drawing his blade, the arrogant rival unleashes crackling blue lightning. He reveals he trained this move just for him, even upgrading his class to Heavenly Blade Overlord. He prepares his ultimate 7 strikes of blue lightning third form, submerged lightning hell, dealing massive damage. Charging forward like a demon, he screams that he'll stand as the strongest player once this battle is over. Sasaki joins in, activating her swift, clear mirror Stillwater stance, her blade moving fast enough to slice the wind. Seeing her blinding speed, Wang is impressed, but instantly prepares to strike back. Facing off against the charging boy, our hero activates his heavy Taurus constellation skill, boosting his raw physical power to absolute maximum. Staring at his opponent, he mocks him for never learning his lesson. While our main character is fighting to save the world, this guy is just acting foolish, and you and I can't wait to see him get wrecked. Alright, you and I are diving into a fierce battle where our young warrior realizes he's totally outmatched. Wang lands a clean, heavy sword strike, proving his dominance, before we switch back to the main character's fight with his female rival. To counter her, our boy activates his Capricorn constellation combat skill, boosting his speed to the absolute limit. He claims that if she is really as fast as they say, he will match her pace and claim victory. Sasaki takes a direct hit, left bleeding and shocked that she lost a speed contest. Meanwhile, Wang stands over the defeated kid, asking what he has to say now. But the boy confidently claims he can still win any fight. Turning his attention to the girl, our main character asks what she meant by revenge, especially since he was the one who actually saved her life. Annoyed, he notes that he lost some health points to the lightning, but wasting precious time was his biggest mistake. Suddenly, Du's voice rings out, warning players with 0 points to hurry up, announcing that a player named Adel is already leading with 1,200 points. We then see our young hero alongside his non-player character companion, who praises him for tracking down those hidden treasure chests so quickly. Despite his speed, the game master reveals the current rank leader is Imperial Thunder with an insane 5,000 points. We cut over to Wang inside a dark cave, completely panicking about falling behind as 2 massive boulders block his path. Determined, he rushes off to find his wife, focusing only on what truly matters. Sasaki wonders why our boy is not chasing after him, but he replies there is no point in getting beaten up again. Annoyed, the girl calls him a total coward who lacks the soul of a true samurai. Elsewhere, at the base of the Jake volcano, Sufu knows she must help Wang rack up points immediately. However, she cannot find a single point-giving object in the area. Suddenly, an unexpected voice calls out, asking if she is searching for monsters and valuable treasure chests. The young woman struggles to remember his name, which annoys him as he snaps that it is Thunder. The top-ranked player then approaches, offering a partnership, but Sufu flatly refuses to accept help from her ally Wang's bitter rival. Now pay attention to this warning. He claims that wandering around aimlessly will not help her contractor, but she confidently fires back, saying her partner is out there fighting his heart out. We return to our main character, who worries his luck has completely run dry after finding absolutely nothing. But suddenly, a strange buzzing sound echoes nearby, catching his attention. Peeking from behind a wall, Wang follows his gut feeling that something amazing is hidden ahead. To his utter shock, he finds Bei and Ruka splashing around, having a playful water fight inside a natural hot spring. Wang is highly tempted to dive in, but worries they will brand him a total creep. Out of nowhere, Sasaki sneaks up, catching him red-handed, while the 2 bathing girls realize they are being watched and flush with deep embarrassment. As she quickly gets dressed, Ruka mutters that her mother always warned her about boys who spy on girls bathing, calling them ultimate creeps. Covering his eyes, Wang desperately explains he was merely passing by and begs Xia to back him up. But she casually calls his bluff, pointing out that he is clearly peeking through his fingers. Following 10 minutes of pure, awkward humiliation, his friend finally clears the air and calms everyone down. Yellowbay explains they stumbled upon this spring, which fully restores stamina and cures all negative status effects. Now in his swim trunks, our boy admits his buddy uncovered a gold mine, while Sasaki also changes and slides in. Relaxing in the water, the magical girl confesses that they still have not scored a single point. Wang tells her not to sweat it, explaining that a recovery zone always precedes a major boss fight, which means a high-scoring giant monster must be lurking nearby. He is visibly pumped. Exaloman praises his sharp tactical mind and calls him Big Brother, which he instantly hates. Trying to relax, Wang remarks that this hot spring is magical enough to melt all his exhaustion away. Beside him, the young girl agrees, admitting she had only ever watched hot springs on television screens until this very moment. You and I both know rest never lasts in these stories. She suddenly begs him to make her his servant, mentioning that Godari recognized him as the legendary player who completely dominated Japan, the sixth celestial demon king. Slightly annoyed, the boy dismisses that title as old news, claiming he is now just an average veteran player who wants no servants, but she dramatically threatens to end her life, making Wine instantly panic and agree. Shocked, the girl asks if he is actually serious, and he agrees on one condition: she must never call him Lord. He then coordinates a party raid to hunt down the labyrinth's high-tier monsters. This quirky girl happily compares their squad to the legend of Mama Taro, assigning herself as the loyal dog and the others as the monkey and bird. Wong silently hopes her combat power makes up for her completely unhinged personality. Meanwhile, the blonde girl whispers that while this woman is stunningly beautiful, she definitely lacks any sense of normal social boundaries. The party suits up and gears up for the raid, while the eccentric girl continues calling our hero by that bizarre title. Suddenly, we discover a hidden scout has been eavesdropping, using a 5-minute invisibility spell. The red-haired spy slips away to report some juicy info about our group targeting the high-scoring elite monsters. Intrigued, their leader wonders if they should beat them to the punch, but her armored companion replies there is absolutely no need. They will simply wait for our group to grow exhausted before swooping in. Switching gears, the girl asks why he wears his helmet during baths, and he replies that a true warrior must protect his mystery. Deep inside the dungeon, Wong warns Sasaki to stop rushing ahead before she triggers a trap, but she proudly declares that as the loyal squad dog, it is her duty to sniff out danger first. Her reckless behavior deeply concerns our hero, but she reassures him that her past failures taught her to be extremely careful, so nothing will go wrong. But as soon as she says that, guess what? She steps directly on a snare that launches her high into the air, screaming for assistance. The little blonde girl sighs, muttering that adults are totally useless, since a real magical girl would never fall for that. Moments later, a highly suspicious lollipop sitting on a rock catches her eye. Forgetting all her pride, the little girl immediately runs over and grabs the sweet treat, excited to finally eat some candy. But then, a thick, slimy puddle of drool begins dripping down beside her, signaling the arrival of a massive, terrifying beast opening its colossal jaws, ready to make her its afternoon snack. Before she can react, she is swallowed whole, and when she attempts to trigger her magical transformation, the beast's acidic stomach fluids completely block her powers and begin eating away at her clothing. In a brief flashback, she recalls a glowing entity approaching her, claiming to be a weak, non-player character on the verge of fading. It begged to form a pact, giving Shia its accumulated data to help others. Snapping back to reality, our young magical girl refuses to give up, desperately racking her brain to find a way out. Thankfully, Wong slays the elite beast, Pale Dvar, and pulls her out safely, securing 100 bonus points. Dusting her off, he tells her not to worry about thanking him since he fights ugly monsters daily. Absolutely dazzled, Shan starts comparing him to her beloved Big Brother character, leaving him completely flustered. Meanwhile, Axio approaches the dangling Sasaki, asking if she needs some help getting down. Once everyone is rescued, our exasperated main character demands to know how they both fell for such incredibly basic traps. With that settled, the party resumes their search for the dungeon boss. But despite their caution, they keep triggering absurd traps, battling a dirty mud armadillo, a gross blue slime, and dodging a lethal volley of flying arrows that nearly ends Wang's life on the spot. Utterly drained, the party collapses onto the floor, groaning over how brutal this level is. Aoi warns them that her debuff cleansing and recovery magic are almost completely depleted, with only a few charges remaining. And trust me, you and I know a good healer is everything. Relieved they finally reach the boss room, our boy steps up to lead the charge as their main vanguard shield. All right, you and I are jumping right into the action. Sasaki backs off while the rest use ranged magic, as Adel and his partner arrive, planning to let the others trigger all the traps first. But the moment they step inside, a mud armadillo strikes the girl, leaving her screaming desperately for help. Our main character decides it is best to ignore those tough monsters for now, letting Wong do the heavy lifting. But as they enter the boss lair, he senses a deeply sinister aura and demands to know what is happening. Suddenly, a massive dragon head emerges, claiming that dark energy belongs to the kid who wiped out its players. Annoyed, our hero asks how a deleted monster resurrected and remembered him. Kaza reveals that though he was cast into the abyss of Tartarus, an absolute power dragged him back to life. The beast's foul breath makes everyone gag, forcing them to hold their breath. Sensing the danger, Sasaki draws her sword and charges forward, confident her strike will slice right through the dragon. But her ultimate strike does absolutely nothing. The dragon laughs, mocking her weak weapon with a smug grin. Spanning the area from her hiding spot, the cat-eared spy panics, knowing a level 50 boss is unbeatable. Even Adel, who ordered her to watch for an opening, stands absolutely zero chance. Sasaki realizes she cannot dodge the dragon's incoming counterattack, but Juan leaps in front of her, drawing his weapon to activate his 12 Zodiac battle ability, unleashing the Cancer sign. Looking back, he yells at Xiamen to strike without hesitation and do whatever it takes to support them. The little girl complains that helping sounds boring, earning a quick scold from her partner to take this seriously. Now, pay attention here, because this is where our main character gets incredibly cocky. As the dragon unleashes its immortal breath, he mocks it, thanking the beast for the dragon crystal it dropped last time since he sold it for a fortune. This reveals his clever strategy, which is to draw all of the dragon's focus onto himself so that Sasaki can strike its weak point at the base of its neck. The hit connects, making the beast roar in pain. Wong realizes his theory was right, and now is a race of pure stamina to wear the monster down. Watching in disbelief, the spy realizes how insanely strong this team is. She needs to warn her leader immediately. Soon, the dragon collapses with its health bar nearly gone, desperately swearing revenge. Exhausted but relieved, our hero smiles. The tough fight is finally ending, and everything went exactly as planned. Suddenly, Adel walks out clapping, praising their performance. But he points out one critical mistake. Since everyone is low on health, he can easily swoop in and steal the kill. Targeting Xiamen first because she looks the weakest, he summons his Solar Thunder Spear, unleashing massive lightning and light elemental damage across a massive 200-meter radius. Mo rushes forward to shield his ally, shouting at him to stop this madness. But it is useless, as Idol fires a devastating blast of blinding pink energy. Everyone is shocked to see the real target was actually the dragon Khazar, securing him massive points. Meanwhile, two mysterious spectators watch the broadcast from a couch, completely hooked. One spectator notes that since the blonde kid can beat him at chess, this performance is expected. He admits he cannot wait to see his next matchup. Let's pause right here, because you and I both know bosses never go down that easily. As they celebrate, the dying dragon roars, activating its eternal resentment ability and putting Adel in deep trouble. Without warning, the dragon unleashes a devastating blast from its maw, hitting the cat-eared girl directly. His eyes filled with rage, Khazar declares that even in death, he remains a dragon and will not fall without taking them down with him. Catching the monster off guard, Wong leaps onto its head, telling it to take its resentment back to the abyss. He drives his sword deep to finish the fight, as the dragon vows to remember him. Somewhere else, a player looks at his defeated foe and spots another target. He mockingly tells Jig Su-Fu to take the kill in points, but she coldly refuses. He warns her that stubbornness will get her master eliminated if she refuses to slay monsters and gain points. Suddenly, an announcement blares over the system, revealing our hero just defeated the boss and secured first place. Su-Fu smugly asks if he still wants her to take those pity points. Furious, he grits his teeth, refusing to fall behind. Meanwhile, Adel realizes he completely miscalculated, as his injured partner lies paralyzed on the ground. Wong approaches them, declaring it is payback time. Desperate, the blonde kid begs him to wait, putting his helmet on and claiming he still has plenty of health left. Amused, our hero asks if he wants a fight, but Adel quickly denies it, claiming he is harmless. Smiling, our main character demands better excuses to keep them alive after spying on them. Sobbing, the cat-eared girl begs for forgiveness, promising she will do absolutely anything if he just spares their lives. While his ally feels pity, Sasaki argues a true samurai would never show mercy. To her shock, Wong decides he is no monster and lets them go, leaving the girl asking Adel for help. Back in the viewing room, an observer notes that Moriarty was wrong about the blonde kid, but the old man dismisses our hero's win as pure luck, questioning if the labyrinth monster was truly Khazar, knowing Wong anticipated the blonde boy's failure. The man in sunglasses disagrees, admitting that even though he owns the labyrinth, too many wild, unpredictable things are unfolding. Inside the game, a pink-haired girl demands to know what those creepy players want, as they complain about their terrible scores. Since they are facing elimination anyway, they decide to have some fun first. Just as one guy lunges forward, a sudden explosion tears through the battlefield, shocking the thugs. Mammon appears, ordering them to freeze. Looking back, the thugs ask who dares interrupt their fun, only to realize she is the one who summoned gluttony. Terrified, they flee like absolute babies. The rescue girl thanks her, admitting she never expected to be saved by a literal heroine. Mammon explains she only stepped in because those guys annoyed her. The pink-haired girl tries to offer a reward, but our heroine simply walks away. Moriarty wonders if Juan might also be in danger with so many wildcards around. But he is told to relax, as the casino manager knows exactly how to handle any crisis. An announcement confirms the area boss has fallen, unlocking the path to the lava zone. Meanwhile, the arrogant boy and Jae Sufu complain bitterly about being surpassed by Wong. Annoyed, she asks how he expects to be her partner with such a pathetic, whiny attitude. He snaps back, warning her that leaving won't be easy. His second-place score gives him the power to force her into non-player character status, screaming a divine command for her to kneel. Forced to obey against her will, Sufu wonders how this is possible. But trust me, you and I are about to witness the power of a hidden god, a fragment of Zeus itself. Alright, you and I are diving right into the middle of a villain's twisted game, as this creep prepares his electric baton. As he grins over his sick fantasies, the helpless girl closes her eyes, praying her level was higher and her dark powers were fully restored. Suddenly, a brutal blow hits him right where it hurts, making him scream in agony. Wang finally appears, furious that anyone would touch his wife, and orders Shioe to strike again. Jack Sufu is thrilled to see our hero, while the villain demands to know what he is doing there. Sasaki remembers this creep from the Imperial Glory Guild, but he activates his cheap trick, forcing everyone to drop to their knees. The three girls collapse, completely unable to fight back. Laughing hysterically, the enemy brags that this is the absolute power of a god. He claims that once he finishes Wan, he will claim first place. Too bad for him, his mind control fails on our hero, who strikes back instantly. The villain gets sent flying, completely defenseless. Furious and confused, he demands to know why our main character is totally immune to Zeus's power when even Jig Sufu fell. Our hero calmly explains those divine fragments are nothing to him, since he personally shattered Zeus into 114,154 pieces. The villain refuses to believe it, calling him a low-level liar. Mocking him, Wong asks how he can be the king of cannons when his own weapon already blew up. Absolutely livid, the boy loses his mind and charges forward blindly. Screaming that trash talk cannot bridge their massive power gap, he attacks. Meanwhile, back in the observation room, Mori realizes that sending players to defeat this boss was nothing but a deadly trap from the start. But letting Thunder Kid take Wang's gear and companion would definitely cause massive issues. Smiling, Duo assures him it is fine, because no matter their strength, players must always play by his rules in the end. Now watch closely, because back in the lava zone, these two are about to clash. The arrogant villain mocks Wong for relying on strong gear and allies, boasting about his own superior level. Our hero quickly fires back, calling him a total rookie if he thinks levels are everything. Thunder suspiciously wonders what kind of scheme Wang is cooking up. Even without mind reading, our protagonist confidently warns that he is about to witness the absolute power of the shattered stars. Grinning as he defends, the villain asks if this is his final struggle, mockingly begging him to go easy. Suddenly, he notices the ground cracking beneath him, and before he can react, he plummets straight into the lava. Our hero figures that fall would have easily finished off any normal player, but he doubts it will be that easy. Right on cue, a massive glowing blue orb appears, and a booming voice calls out his name. The villain emerges unharmed, revealing he activated his Thunder God form, granting him 90% immunity to all environmental damage. Spectating the fight, Morty admits he did not expect Thunder to have such a powerful trump card, but Duyu claims everything is going perfectly. Still, the old man wonders if combining with a level 2 companion will overload the boy's mind. Back in the arena, Wong takes a direct hit from the newly awakened Zeus, who declares his thirst for vengeance. Fortunately for our protagonist, Quasar's curse activates and shields him from fatal damage. Now his only problem is finding a way to defeat this possessed kid. Struggling on her knees, Jag Sufu points out that this overpowered state has a strict time limit. Zeus raises his hand to deliver the finishing strike, boasting that nothing can save Wong this time. But out of nowhere, a massive sword descends, catching him completely off guard and stopping him in his tracks. Our hero's fierce ally declares she will never let him harm him. Furious, he demands how a mere mortal dares strike a god, totally failing to notice Sasaki creeping up behind him with bloodshot eyes. Striking without mercy, she boasts that her blade can slay both gods and demons. Abe and Chaylin rush to check on Wong, while the girl reveals she had to bite her tongue raw to break free of Zeus's pressure. Still standing, Thunder growls that no matter how many allies rally to our hero's side, none of them are escaping this place alive. And I know what you're thinking, is it over? Nope, our main character stands up, declaring victory is already guaranteed. Formulating a plan, Wong realizes his only path to victory is separating the boy from the divine spirit. He just needs to pinpoint the perfect spot to strike. Sprinting forward, our hero declares he has already found the weakness of this self-proclaimed god. The villain blocks with his weapon, screaming that, as the omnipotent king of gods, he has absolutely no flaws. Proving him dead wrong, Jake Sufu leaps into action, refusing to waste the opening her contractor created. Delivering a devastating kick, she declares this is the ultimate price for disrespecting a Valkyrie. He screams in pure agony from the direct hit as a massive explosion erupts right where she kicked him, leaving him completely broken. The group watches anxiously to see if the threat is finally over, but Wang's eyes widen as the dust clears. Amazingly, the enemy is still standing, prompting Sasaki to mock the vice president's pathetic little secret. Furious and left half-naked, Thunder shrieks at them to stop laughing, while his companion quickly shields Xiaoman's eyes from the sight. Wang notes that since the brat is out of health, mana, and god powers, the real beatdown can begin. Desperately trying to buy time, the kid threatens that his guild will hunt them down. But our protagonist shrugs, completely unfazed by some generic guild. Thunder begs for his life, promising to transfer all his ownership contracts over, including all the rare elves won at the auction, so they can serve our hero instead. He pleads for a second chance, but Wang shows zero mercy, asking if he even realizes how many innocent companions he tortured. Shouting back, Thunder defends himself, claiming he was just trying to enjoy his life in the apocalypse. Our protagonist calmly notes that he is not entirely wrong, since forcing every player to act like a hero and save the world is pretty unrealistic. But that twisted mindset had to go. Sometime later, we see that Wang ended Thunder's life, pocketing a glowing fragment of Zeus and admiring its incredible stats. He can feel its immense power vibrating even from inside his inventory. Jigsaw approaches, warning him to handle the fragment carefully before it corrupts his mind. Our hero tells her not to worry, admitting that fusion move with a companion actually looked incredibly cool. Annoyed, she snaps back, declaring she would never agree to fuse with him. Suddenly, an announcement blares over the system, asking players if they enjoyed their trek through the labyrinth. Now, Hideo announces the top 4 players advancing to the next round, with first place going to Wang, who secures 12,500 points. A bright spotlight suddenly illuminates our surprised hero. Second and third place go to Sasaki and Xian, securing 6,500 and 6,900 points. The final slot goes to Mammon with 5,800 points. Shocked, the girl wonders how she made it, while the companion she saved thanks her, sad she cannot repay her. Duo announces that all other players are disqualified from the labyrinth, just like Adel. Confused, a blonde kid wonders why Thunder was left off the list despite having a massive high score. Then it hits him that he is going to face absolute hell from his guildmaster back home. Outside the maze, Moriarty asks Yu if he was being too soft, which he calmly shrugs off. The old man points out that almost everyone passed the first phase with ease since none of the traps were actually designed to kill. So what do you and I take from this? In this wild global fusion, the line between hero and villain gets incredibly blurry. You and I both know that since his persona is based on Sherlock Holmes' greatest rival, he won't do anything good. But he's styled after a comedy lead, yet he's still greedy and cunning. Annoyed, the guy with glasses asks if the old man plans to deduce his motive like his old rival would. But if he won't answer, he'll just exploit every single resource he can find, no matter how useless. The old man then leaves, saying he has to prepare for Juan's arrival. Now we see our boy elsewhere, wondering if he's reached the final stage. That's where we leave it today. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss what's next. Join me next time on Tobs.